I just had to kick out my pregnant 12-year-old.
Government benefits are there for us to use.
Girl, stop playing. Just stop. Enough with the shenanigans.
This is Mama Courtney, a TikTok mom with nearly 500,000 followers who built her entire page on content so outrageous that nobody can ever quite tell what's real and what she just made up on the spot. She has 6 kids with 4 different baby daddies. Zooms into the cysts on her own head for content.
All right, it's Cyst Sunday.
Gets on her asking strangers to pay for her teeth. And at one point her husband named their baby after an OnlyFans model. And wait for it, she posted that herself.
I just found out my husband named our daughter after a OF creator.
She even got on camera and told the world CPS had taken her kids. Those same kids she had already been coaching on exactly what to say if CPS ever actually showed up. For this lady, it's just 1 week, 1 problem, maybe even 2 problems if she's having a good run. Well, it turns out TikTok eventually had enough.
Went to log in this morning, my account was banned.
This is the full story of Mama Courtney. And trust me, the opening clips were a tip of this gigantic iceberg. You see, this lady did not start out like this because before the chaos, before the controversies, before the comment section got on fire every single day, she was just a mom. A completely unremarkable, struggling, boring mom. And that was the actual problem.
I'm still clueless on how this algorithm works.
Back in July 2024, she was posting regular mom talk content, sweet videos of herself and her nonverbal autistic son. She was genuinely trying. 10 to 20 likes on a good day, sometimes less. The algorithm didn't care. The people didn't care. Nobody was watching. And that's where this whole thing turns. Because Mama Courtney didn't just take the rejection and kept going. No, she took it as a signal. If being a good mom was not going to pay her bills, then maybe being a bad one would. She started posting things specifically designed to make people uncomfortable, showing off teeth that were, and I say this with full sincerity, genuinely fighting for their survival, dancing in visibly stained clothes like the entire internet was not watching.
Don't stop, yeah, get it. Shake that shit, don't stop her, get it.
Now, were all these gross? Yes. But was it working? Also yes. The numbers were finally moving. And that told her everything she needed to know about what this audience wanted. So she went further. She took her 7-year-old daughter to get her ears pierced, which should have been a normal, sweet moment. But this child did not want to be there. She was sobbing, shaking, begging her mom to stop.
2, 1, done. Well, see, it's for a second though, right? See? That's it.
That video hit 13 million views. 13 million people watched a child beg her mother to stop, and Mama Courtney watched the numbers climb. She had found the formula. The more uncomfortable it made people, the more they watched. And the more they watched, the more money she made. From that moment on, Mama Courtney was not posting content. She was running a business. And like any new business owner, the first thing she needed to sort out was the finances. Now, most people in her position with 6 kids and no traditional income would quietly figure it out. Courtney chose a different approach.
This is a message for anyone telling me that I need to go get a real job. Okay.
She claims she's been on the system for 13 years, has never worked a day in her life, and she never will.
I've never worked a day in my life, and I'm never going to.
And of course, that people are just jealous of her.
You are just mad that I make more from the government by sitting on my ass. By sitting on my ass in one day.
And then came the flexing. She started breaking down her government benefits like she was reading from a financial statement.
My food stamps went from $4,400, $4,400 in food stamps every month.
$900 in cash assistance.
Okay, so I receive $3,300 in EBT food stamps a month. Okay, that is just food. $900 in cash benefits. I'm making more than you. And it's your job as a taxpayer to support me and my 6 children anyways. So no, I'm not going to go out and get a job.
Plus, if you may be wondering what's up with her TikTok income, well, she said that TikTok doesn't count as a real job.
Add all that up. My TikTok income.
But she can take her EBT card, buy massive cases of soda, drag them to the parking lot, and dump all the soda on the concrete just so she can return the empty cans for a 10-cent deposit.
I just had someone call 911 on me because I was pouring pop out into the parking lot.
Yeah, $7.20 is what she would have actually made for what she just did to those parking lot tiles. And does she admit she's lying? Of course not. She doubles down and calls them messed up for judging her.
So now, anybody getting food stamps can't return bottles just because I didn't drink it? That's effed up.
However, as this commenter rightly said, what's actually messed up is that she has a serious problem. Well, here's a bit of good news for you, though, because that rage bait content should definitely get follow-up rage bait consequences. Well, Mama Courtney would soon come back on camera to tell us she had lost her benefits. And not just lose them, she owed the state $50,000 in EBT back pay.
And that I will have to pay back every penny that I have received for the last 12 months, or I'm facing criminal charges. Do you know how much that is? Over $50,000 in food stamps I have to repay.
She went on to claim that the government snatched her tax refund and is forcing her to sell the 2024 BMW she bought with her money.
Not only is the state forcing me to sell my 2024 BMW that I paid with.
And she didn't just claim that once, she went on to do that again. I mean, that's a $60,000 car, but she's on Section 8? Nah, somebody like that definitely doesn't need assistance. And of course, people did not let it go quietly, as they made sure to point it out in the comments.
You can't be on welfare and doing all this stuff.
By the way, if you're gonna lie on the internet, please make sure you take notes on what you say. For Mama Courtney, though, she is officially tripping over her own script, because that BMW is about to become a G-Wagon a few videos later.
That I have to sell my 2024 G-Wagon because it is considered an asset and I won't be eligible for food stamps.
But hey, you know what's even crazier? A few videos after that, that 150K G-Wagon randomly transformed into a Mazda CX-5.
So now, they are now forcing me to sell my Mazda CX-5, and the next vehicle that I buy has to be $4,000 or less.
So is it a 2024 BMW, a G-Wagon, or a Mazda CX-5? Well, maybe the answer to that doesn't matter. We already know it's a lie. But playing games with the IRS wasn't enough. The actual pawns in this mess were her own kids. Like she was teaching her children step by step exactly what to say if Child Protective Services ever knocked on the door.
So my kids are trained to talk to CPS, okay? We rehearse multiple times a day if CPS ever shows up, what they are supposed to say.
Sadly, the poor kids played along for a minute until one of them just couldn't do it anymore and finally spilled the truth.
My one daughter decided to tell them the truth. The truth.
Now, parents hearing that their child had the courage to tell the truth in a difficult situation would feel something. Pride, maybe. Relief. A little shame at minimum. But not out drama mama here. Instead, she rewarded the kid with some punishments by taking away her screens and ripping the bedroom door clean off the hinges.
So, I took her phone away. Her phone was taken, her tablet was taken, and I took her bedroom door off the hinges last night.
At a point, the daughter allegedly had to get onto a computer and dial 911, as in her own child called the police on her. Now, that's crazy.
Called 911 to tell them that her mother is being mean to her and disciplining her because for no reason. That's what she told them.
But Mama Courtney supposedly didn't care. She bragged that nothing would happen because she is the mother, and next time her daughter will learn to lie.
Nothing happens because I am the mother. Okay, next time CPS shows up, maybe she will learn to lie.
Okay, let's get down to some hard talk here. A normal person would have probably logged off the internet for a while, at least after their kid called the cops on them, right? Well, wrong. This woman just kept doubling down, acting like she was the victim of her own children. And when the sympathy didn't roll in, she shifted gears. She started treating the state like a free babysitting app. The drama queen practically called CPS, demanding they take her kids overnight just so she could hit the bar.
I call CPS and tell them I need them to come get my kids overnight, and then I need them to drop them back off because I don't have a vehicle. So I told them they need to pick them up and then drop them back off, and they said that's not what they do.
And when they told her no, she was there asking what she could have possibly done differently.
So I need an adult to come pick my kids up so I can go out to the bars with my girls. I don't understand. Like,
What could I have done as a mother differently? I just wanted a weekend. That's all I wanted was just 2 days to myself. I haven't had a day to myself in over 11 years.
At this point, we might just agree that it's the clout-chasing disease pushing her deeper into this mud. I mean, this is the same woman who happily admitted to leaving her 8-year-old home alone for 2 hours completely unbothered.
I left my 8-year-old home alone for almost 2 hours, and no, I'm not sorry.
And the same woman who refused to pick up her child from a sleepover during an emergency, telling the host family it was their problem until morning.
yes, I am the mother who refused to pick up her daughter from a sleepover because her friend's family had a emergency.
See, pattern recognition is a thing, and soon the internet started putting it together. So when people started reporting her, it was not because of one video. It was because she had been handing them evidence for months. But that's not even the height of it yet. According to Mama Courtney, the social workers felt so bad for her that they personally bought her kids brand new beds.
I just want to thank all of my haters who reported me to CPS. Thank you for calling CPS and bringing them into my life again. Because of you, all of my kids have a brand new bed. Brand new bed, mattress, headboard, they've got it all, okay? All 6 of my kids.
And then this story evolved. Now she was giving us full trailer tours of her house, stopping mid-walk to argue with a social worker that the camera could not see.
Nice, big, clean living room. Oh my gosh. A sippy cup, a ball. Oh my gosh. So I've got CPS here again. What are your names again? No? Yeah, okay. Well, they don't want to be on camera.
She even claimed CPS gave her 24 hours to clean her filthy house or they'd take the kids. But it was more like she thinks the entire internet is blind, because you can literally see she is standing there screaming at an empty room.
This is what they consider filth. Are you kidding me? They expect me to get this cleaned up. Actually, you know what? You two need to get out of my house. Come back when you have a warrant and make sure we do.
And then came the video that the comments absolutely destroyed her for. This woman posted, claiming the state had come and taken her kids without a warrant.
I hope you guys are freaking happy. CPS just showed up here and took my kids. Like, who does that?
At this point, it was not even about whether people believed her any longer. It was becoming a sport. Who could spot the inconsistency first? Who could hear the kid in the background? Who could catch her slipping? Anyways, she would later claim CPS gave her a final ultimatum: to delete TikTok or lose custody of her kids.
CPS just came in here, giving me an ultimatum. I either stop making TikTok.
She chose TikTok, obviously.
I can't stop TikTok. I can't stop making these videos.
And then, as if the story needed one more detail to seal it, the drama queen dropped a caption letting the audience know that she's actually not a crackhead. She is, in her words, a meth head. And to be honest, that caption finally gave us some real perspective to a lot of things about her. But hey, hold on to your popcorn, because the next bomb Mama Courtney would drop on us is going to blow your mind. You see, there are moments in this story where you think you've finally seen the height of it all, the absolute highest point it can possibly reach. And then Mama Courtney walks in and removes the ceiling entirely. This woman announced to millions of people with her usual straight face that her 12-year-old daughter was pregnant.
My 12-year-old just took a pregnancy test. I'm going to be a freaking grandma.
Hold on a second. Isn't that just the most bizarre thing? But it gets even weirder because she did not just announce it. The controversial mom also said that the daughter had earlier come to ask permission from her, and she said yes.
Over a month ago, my 12-year-old and her 13-year-old boyfriend told me they wanted to talk to me. They tell me that they want to have a baby. They want to get pregnant. They love each other. I said, absolutely not. You're 12 years old.
According to the self-confessed meth head, her middle schooler's pregnancy was going to be just like a fresh start. Obviously, her other kids were already out of the house, so this was like a new chapter, a new baby to look forward to.
Then she reminded me, well, Mom, you got all your kids taken away, so if I get pregnant, it'll be like you starting over. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
And the funny thing is, she couldn't believe that she was getting mom-shamed for taking her 12-year-old off birth control so she could get pregnant. After all, what she's doing is preparing her for adulthood. Education does not matter in her house, so the only way to survive is to have babies and collect that government money.
Okay, I am preparing her for adulthood. Education is not important in this house. Government money is there for a reason. So I am getting her started young. So by the time she's 20, she could have 4 or 5 different dependents, like myself, 6 kids.
The story held for a while, then it started cracking. The daughter allegedly wanted out of the pregnancy at 3 months, and instead of feeling relief, Courtney went on the app asking the internet for legal advice, specifically whether she had any rights over the baby.
Now that she knows this really is going to happen, she is now telling me she wants to have an not happening.
She was arguing custody over a child that had not been born yet to a mother who was 12 years old.
So I can't let this happen. So I told her me and my husband would adopt this baby as our own. She doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to have to see this child now. Do I have any legal rights to this baby?
Then she flipped the story again. Now she's playing the scared mom because the 12-year-old and her 13-year-old boyfriend want to drop out of school and move out.
Well, now, all of a sudden, she decides she wants to drop out of school and be a stay-at-home mom. Not only that, she wants to move out with her boyfriend. Hell no, she's 12.
Acting terrified like she didn't just spend weeks encouraging the whole thing. And of course the comments weren't buying it for a second. Receipts were flying around because her mood was changing faster than her car brands. Caught, she changed direction. Now the daughter was lying. Now the daughter was the one telling people Mama Courtney had forced her into it.
Make her go viral? If she tells people that I'm forcing her to do this? Forcing her? No. We decided as a family that this was going to happen.
She later claimed that she kicked the daughter out for not following her rules about the baby.
I just had to kick out my 12-year-old pregnant daughter because she broke our deal. Mother this child like it was supposed to be, or you can leave. What do you think she chose? Yeah. So I took her bedroom door down. I wouldn't allow her to take anything, any of her clothes, nothing.
Then when the comments tore her apart for putting a pregnant child on the street, she had to invent a scapegoat. There was a husband. He gave her an ultimatum to choose between him or the daughter, so she chose him.
I just had to kick out my pregnant 12-year-old. My husband came to me, the husband that I have been married to for almost 6 years, and gave me an ultimatum.
And of course, CPS is back in the mix. She claims people reported her for the birth control stunt, and now they're threatening to take the teen and her newborn twins to foster care.
Y'all really called CPS on my 12-year-old who is pregnant with twins. Okay, she's due November 2nd. She's 12 years old. She's not even 13, and CPS is already in her life.
But wait, what twins? Well, hold on, because here's where the real shocker is coming. You see, when the story became too complicated to maintain, Mama Courtney revealed the final version of the story. She'd hired a 12-year-old off Facebook Marketplace as a surrogate, signed a contract, then sent her away once the children were born.
Yes, I am the crazy woman going viral right now for buying a 12-year-old on Facebook Marketplace, bringing her into my home. Okay, I then took her off birth control. She then got pregnant, okay, she got paid. She got pregnant, she had the babies are here, the babies are with me. I then kicked her out.
Can you imagine the ridiculousness of that story? She eventually uploaded a clip admitting she never had a 12-year-old daughter. The child never existed. None of it was real.
I did not kick out my pregnant 12-year-old, okay? I don't have a pregnant 12-year-old.
I mean, she ran that story for months, millions of views, and the entire time she was performing a pregnancy, a surrogate arrangement, a custody battle, and a family breakdown for an audience that, to be fair to them, genuinely did not know what to believe anymore. No, and here's something worth understanding about how Mama Courtney operates. Her own life, as chaotic as it is never enough on its own. Whenever she felt her numbers were slipping, she would reach outside of her own story and grab someone else's. The 4th of July pasta salad drama is one example, and it was everywhere. If you were on TikTok that summer, you could not escape it. A family cookout went sideways. Someone felt left out. Someone brought a dish nobody asked for, and suddenly it was a whole thing.
Then let me explain. So last weekend in America, it was the 4th of July, and this creator called Nicole made this video. In this video, she was really upset, and she was talking about how she'd just been kicked out of a 4th of July party that she'd been invited to through her son's friend's mum, the one that she brought this gorgeous antipasto salad to. This video completely blew up, and it's currently sitting at nearly 30 million views.
Everyone had an opinion. The actual host, a woman named Stacia, was trying to hold her own against others. And Mama Courtney, who had never met Stacia, had no connection to the cookout, and was not invited to any table at any point, got on camera and told her followers that Stacia was her stepbrother's wife that she'd always hated.
For having a sister-in-law like that, I do not defend Stacia. I have never liked her.
Then she made another video saying the opposite.
For one, Stacia Hicks did not come out yelling at anybody, okay? It was Stacia's husband.
She did the same thing when the video of the girl in the red pants went viral. A street fight clip that the entire timeline was sharing, everyone trying to figure out who the girl was.
Yeah.
Courtney told her audience that it was her daughter. But when people immediately clocked her and proved she was lying, she didn't even sweat it. She just pivoted straight to the next viral fight clip. Suddenly, another of her fake daughters was the girl in the pink jacket. That was one of her daughters too. Apparently caught stealing at a mall, had every right to fight a group of people, did nothing wrong.
Yes, I am the mother of Junie Bean Jones, the little girl in the pink jacket that stole from the mall and then ran up the escalator and decided to fight a group of girls.
Okay, we already have two different girls, two different incidents. Both her daughters, both strangers. She even inserted herself into the Drew Jenkins and Stephanie situation. Of course, their breakup was the topic of every T-page that week. Courtney got on and claimed she was the secret baby mama.
Yes, I am Drew Jenkins' other baby mama, okay? We know the rest of his baby mamas. I'm number 3.
No, this woman is not pregnant with Drew Jenkins' unborn child.
It never worked. It never stuck. But she kept doing it because even being called a liar was better than silence on her own. At this point, it's almost like Mama Courtney had a weird obsession with pregnancy as content, and you can't begin to imagine how deep that relationship went. She told her followers she had paid her sister-in-law $50,000 to carry a baby for her, and the arrangement had gone wrong, and the sister was now keeping the child.
Is so far from the freaking truth, okay? This woman has issues, okay? She needs serious help. But this is the truth, okay?
But hey, don't even bother trying to trace the family tree, because Courtney turned it completely upside down. It's so messy. People were in the comments like, how did your sister-in-law become your brother's sister? She could not explain it, because there was nothing to explain. The story had no foundation, and when people started pulling at the threads, the whole thing came undone. So she moved past it, straight into a new announcement. The same woman who had told everyone she could not carry a child got onto the app and announced she had just given birth in her toilet.
I literally pushed him out on this toilet. Literally on this toilet. We had to call 911. They came out here, they checked him, we did everything we needed to do. He is healthy.
So where's the baby? Well, we only got a fleece blanket, swaddled, cradled, presented to the internet as a newborn human being. Anyways, somewhere between the fake pregnancies, the invisible social workers, and the fleece baby, there were also men, several of them actually. And keeping track of who is who became its own challenge. One time she claimed she walked in on her 70-year-old disabled neighbor doing something she was not prepared to see with her boyfriend.
I walked in on my 70-year-old neighbor going downstairs on my boyfriend of 3 years.
She built up the whole story, made it graphic, made it dramatic, leaned into the shock of it, and then revealed at the end that the neighbor was a man.
My neighbor was a guy. Okay, my neighbor was a guy.
Around the same time, a 53-year-old husband appeared, and according to Courtney, deeply committed to making questionable parenting decisions, he started with the baby name. He named their child after Sophie Rain. And in case you don't know, Sophie Rain is an OnlyFans creator.
I just found out my husband named our daughter after a OF creator. Our daughter was named after Sophie Rain.
Somehow, though, that particular story did not generate enough heat on its own. So a few videos later, the name had changed. Now the husband had named the baby after Piper Raquel, the kid influencer.
I just found out that my husband named our daughter after Piper Raquel.
But heaven forbid she stops there. No, she wouldn't, because she soon claimed to literally catfish her own man from a fake profile to catch him cheating.
Our feet would sway to a voice in.
And then posted a video standing outside her own bedroom door, telling the camera that he had a whole other woman barricaded inside with a dresser pushed against it.
Cheating ass of a husband thinks it's okay to bring random women here when me and his kids are gone grocery shopping. So right now he's barricaded himself and this bitch inside my bedroom.
She was crying, said he had called her names, told her followers that if she could get an additional 10,000 followers, she would finally have enough money to leave. And wait for the plot twist. The woman, or let's say one of the women this husband was cheating with, was supposedly her best friend of 30 years.
That he caught my best friend and my husband in bed together.
Whether any of these things happened, though, is almost beside the point at this stage. The audience had been watching long enough to know that in this house, the story always changes. However, what stays constant is the drama. Courtney's husband, whoever he actually was, came with his own set of complications. Aside from the ultimatum he supposedly gave her to leave her pregnant daughter, he gave her another one, to disown her older kids or he's gone.
My husband of 10 years is giving me an ultimatum. Him or my two...
And in this storyline, while she was publicly framing him as the villain, she was also doing her own version of the same thing. She door-dashed McDonald's for her kids and deliberately left his children out of the order.
So my husband of 10 years is threatening to divorce me because I didn't DoorDash his two boys.
Sadly, though, Happy Meals were not generating enough outrage, so the stakes had to go up. She announced she would refuse to let her husband take their children to Disney World unless he included every single one of her kids in the trip.
You are not taking. You're not taking them. Unless you take all 6.
It was either her or his kids. That was the offer.
I am getting so much hate for my last video about my stepkids, okay? My bratty ass stepkids.
And then she sat her own daughter down on camera and told her she could not go to Disney, all to make sure her husband looked like the bad person.
Okay, are you okay about that? What if he doesn't take off?
You could even see the look of disappointment on that child's face. I mean, how could she weaponize her kids' feelings like that? But to distract everyone from how awful that looked, she closed that chapter and opened a new one entirely. Suddenly, there was a different man in the story, a felon boyfriend this time, and he was apparently demanding she give up 2 of her own children for adoption.
I have to give 2 of my kids up for adoption, but I don't know which ones to pick. I have 8 kids.
The comments were rightfully confused because, wait, since when does she have 8 kids? Well, apparently 6 kids became 8 kids somewhere between the DoorDash fight and the Disney ultimatum, and nobody got a memo. You see, the numbers in Courtney's world had never made sense. Not the kids, not the cars, not the benefits, not any of it. And another inconsistent thing is her money. One day she's talking about dropping over $100 on a promise ring for her 16-year-old's 3-month anniversary.
Why did I just spend over $100 on a promise ring for my 16-year-old to give to his girlfriend for their 3-month?
And the next she was telling the audience her daughter was knocking on a neighbor's door asking for food.
I am a mother whose daughter knocked on her neighbor's door asking the neighbor to invite her to dinner because she hadn't been fed and was hungry, and that her mom wouldn't allow her to go to anybody's house and eat unless she was...
Then she tried to sue her own parents for $500,000 because she didn't consent to being born.
Years old. And when my mother gave birth to me, when her and my father got pregnant with me, they didn't try to contact me before being born to ask me if I actually wanted.
And to top it all off, she told her followers the FBI was watching her, that the government was not just coming after her benefits anymore, but now they were specifically targeting her.
The government is after me. I can't even walk out my...
This drama queen was whispering to the camera, acting like every device in her house was compromised, trying to convince people she was a person of interest in something much larger than a TikTok account. It wasn't just the FBI either, because she said that if she ever went missing or got unalived, it would be because a creator with over 10 million followers was harassing her family.
If I come up missing, if I come up dead, there is a creator on this app with over 10 million followers that for the last few months has been trying to make my life a living.
The absolute drama of it all. This woman even makes sure to add she's not suicidal just to make it more cinematic. It's like she's trying to manifest a Netflix documentary out of thin air. Like she was writing herself into a narrative where she was the most important, most persecuted, most watched person on the platform, and she needed her audience to believe it. But then one thing that's always certain is that audiences have a limit, right? Especially when it comes to rage bait content. By the time she hit 200,000 followers, TikTok actually dropped the hammer and banned her.
See, on TikTok, my account has been banned.
She had to create a new backup account and asked her followers to flood TikTok support with appeals on her behalf.
I am begging you, message TikTok support so they can hurry this process up, okay? I need my account back, okay?
The comments were ruthless, though. People weren't rushing to help. They were actually messaging TikTok and thanking them for finally taking out the trash. Unfortunately, she got her main account back. She even hit 300,000 followers and posted a video about it like she had won something.
Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Mama C has got her main account.
To be honest, though, she did win something. But by then, the audience had already started walking away. By August 2025, the numbers told the whole story. Videos that used to hit millions of views were landing in the low thousands. The shock value had expired, and nobody was really paying attention anymore. So what do you do when the hate stops paying the rent? You start the apology tour. In November, she drops an official apology, then another one 4 days later. She even promised to post an apology video every single day until Christmas.
This is an apology video to my followers, to my viewers, to my haters, to the trolls, to the people who can't stand me, to the people who silently watch me.
Anyways, the comments were just done with her. People were straight up asking why she chose to rage bait and upset everyone in the first place. In one of those videos, she sat down and traced it all the way back. She said it started with that first food stamp video. Once she saw what the engagement looked like, she said she just could not stop herself.
I made one food stamp video. It took off. It got me to over 10,000 followers in less than 24 hours, okay? Then I started monetizing off that video.
And it had consequences that went well beyond her comments section. She admitted that because people genuinely believed some of her videos actually once showed up at her door for real. Yeah, her little TikTok stunts were actively pulling social workers away from kids who were in actual real-life emergencies.
It's because people went real life by believing my videos and called CPS. Now, CPS was only called one time, or at least CPS only showed up to my house one time. But that one time was enough, because that is now taking resources away from children that actually need.
After all these, she came out to say that she is rebranded. She started showing up and celebrating the fact that she hadn't posted any rage bait in 30 days and how she was so sorry.
I haven't posted any rage bait in over 30 days. I am so sorry. If I could go back and redo it all.
Then she started begging for followers because her numbers were falling off a cliff. She even played the "God gave me this platform for a reason" card. Sadly, the majority of people didn't buy it. And what do you expect when you can't even tell what's real and what's part of the script anymore? Courtney tried to hold on to the good mom act, but the clout withdrawals were clearly hitting. So by December, she couldn't even make it through the holidays without a relapse. On literal Christmas Day, she drops a video crying, claiming she's done and refusing to choose a man over her babies.
And my 14-year-old had just called her dad, crying, asking him to go.
The caption read, "This is not rage bait," but we all already knew what it was. A few days later, she posted a video about trying to do better.
You know, I am trying to do better.
And you're left wondering why this woman is trying to gaslight us? Because it was the same woman who posted another rage bait video. Yeah, commenters clocked her so bad. People called her out for posting rage bait that morning while pretending to be changed by the afternoon. It was giving the police during the day and an armed robber at night. Now remember those teeth from the beginning of this video, the ones that were fighting for their lives? By the end of all this, Mama Courtney was on the app asking strangers to crowdfund her dental implants.
Did you know if you stay just 5 seconds, you could help me get my teeth done?
Okay, this is day 1 of using this platform, this video right here, to get my 4-on-4 teeth implants.
Then she asked for a new car.
Single mom with 6 kids, no vehicle. TikTok, I need.
Like what happened to her 2024 BMW and G-Wagon. The comments were quick to remind her that she supposedly had 2 cars not long ago. And when neither the dental funds nor the car money came, the mental health videos started.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This battering thing. This app can really take a toll on your mental health.
She was talking about her declining mental health and asking for prayers every 5 minutes.
I pray for your healing. The circumstances will...
And here's the thing, maybe some of it was real. Maybe she was genuinely struggling, but she had spent so long performing a struggle for views that by the time something real was happening, her audience had no way to know the difference.
Ever just feel like you just really messed up?
Fucking do this.
I can't fucking do.
Indeed, that's one thing nobody talks about when it comes to rage bait. It's not just the audience it damages, it's the creator too. Because the moment you need people to believe you, really believe you, they won't. You have already given them every reason not to. But that's not the end of Mama Courtney. She's still very active on TikTok, begging for TikTok gifts.
These are my people. This is where I come from.
And still trying to figure out what's growing in her stomach.
I get to find out if I am having an alien. I get to find out if I am having a cyst. I get to find out if I'm having some type of tumor. I get to find out if I'm just overweight
and I need to go on a diet?
Obviously, this is another drama unfolding. But if you have anything to say to our drama mama, she has a message for you first.
You don't get to tell me, as a complete stranger behind the screen, what I should be posting on TikTok and what I shouldn't be posting.
The internet has a very strange pattern when it comes to mom influencers. It usually starts the same way: a harmless looking video, a few seconds of content that seems normal on the surface, and then suddenly the entire internet is arguing about it. Sometimes the outrage is overblown, but other times that one clip ends up exposing something much bigger. Because we've seen this story play out before. There was Nurse Hannah, the now infamous 17 diaper mom, who turned her own questionable parenting decisions into viral content. Instead of taking accountability when people raised concerns, she doubled down, mocked the criticism, and eventually pushed things so far that it cost her the very thing that gave her credibility in the first place, her nursing license. Then there are far more disturbing examples. Parents like Shanika Grant, whose online presence became a window into chaos, neglect, and behavior that had people seriously questioning the safety of her children. Or families like the Jenkins, who practically turned their household dysfunction into public entertainment, with children piled up on top of one another in cheap foam mattresses on the living room floor. And of course, you have influencer moms like Ashley Trevino, who have repeatedly been accused of using their kids as content, placing them in uncomfortable, embarrassing, or even dangerous situations just to keep the views coming in. At this point, it's become a pattern. A mom posts something online involving her children. People raise concerns. Instead of reflecting or addressing the issue, the creator gets defensive, then confrontational, then outright hostile.
And negative comments, and I know this, and you should be doing this, and you're not doing this right, and blah, 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 blah. Guess what? I don't care. I preach this all the time about who gives a crap what people have to say, and I truly mean that, because seriously, who gives a crap? Haters.
And suddenly what could have been a small mistake turns into a full-blown internet disaster. Now, the situation we're talking about today isn't nearly as extreme as some of those cases. No massive scandals, no criminal investigations, no obvious abuse being broadcast to the world. In fact, the video that started all of this was surprisingly small, a short homeschooling clip that, on its own, probably shouldn't have exploded the way it did. But that's not really the problem. The real issue is what happened after. Instead of addressing the concerns people had, this mom decided to go to war with the internet. Comment after comment filled with sarcasm, mockery, and a level of stubbornness that only made the backlash grow louder. Rather than calming things down, she poured gasoline on the fire, seemingly enjoying the chaos, the attention, and the engagement that came with it. And that raises a bigger question. Are some influencer parents genuinely making mistakes? Or are they intentionally fueling outrage because controversy keeps the views coming? Today we're going to break down the entire situation, the viral video that started it, the response that made everything worse, and how this fits into a much larger pattern of influencer moms who refuse to take accountability, even when the entire internet is telling them something is wrong. Because sometimes the clip isn't the real story, the reaction is. So before we get into the controversy itself, let's start with a little background. The mom at the center of all this goes by the modern mompreneur on TikTok. If you haven't heard that term before, it's basically the internet's favorite buzzword for moms who are trying to balance motherhood with entrepreneurship, content creation, and the whole building a brand lifestyle. According to her TikTok profile, her real name is Whitney, and her account has a little over 12,000 followers. Content-wise, her page is pretty much what you'd expect from a small lifestyle creator. She posts get ready with me videos, motivational clips about being a hardworking mom, random daily life moments, makeup videos, things like that. And every now and then, completely out of nowhere, you'll also find clips of her doing a little bit of, well, enthusiastic dancing for the camera, which is a little ironic considering that she's somewhat religious, at least when it comes to her kids. Whitney homeschools her kids using a Christian curriculum, something that we'll be talking about later in the video. But here's the important thing to understand. She wasn't a big creator. If you look at most of her recent TikToks, they usually sit somewhere around 1,000 to 2,000 views, which is fairly small in the grand scheme of TikTok. However, if you scroll a little further back on her page, you'll notice something interesting. Around September of 2025, one of her videos suddenly blew up and went viral. And once that happened, Whitney held on to that moment like it was the holy grail of engagement. You can see that her videos had significantly more views around that time. And if you keep scrolling through her content, the pattern becomes pretty obvious. After the viral moment, the views eventually dropped again. In other words, the controversy ended up doing exactly what controversy often does on TikTok, boost the numbers. But for Whitney, this was temporary. And that brings us to the video that started everything. The clip racked up around 10 million views, a video captioned, "Let's open homeschool at this AM." We're going to play this 2-minute long clip for you before we talk about anything else.
What do you want? Pencil? There's that. We'll go throw it away for mommy. Go throw it away. Oh, and then we got you a coloring page for when you're done with this. There's your morning workflow. The weather looks like at your house. Where's the clouds? It's kind of like that, yeah. Fall. It's fall right here. Fall. Okay, look. And what's the temperature? Is it cold, cool, warm? Good job. You're so smart. Let's trace the. Can you trace it? Good job.
Who?
Now, can you color in 2 circles? You can use a crayon if you want.
Okay.
Now, at first glance, this seems like a pretty standard, normal video. There's not even enough talking in the video, just Whitney quietly setting up what she calls the homeschool and teaching her daughter some very basic lessons about things like weather, temperatures, and other age-appropriate topics. Honestly, it's the kind of content a lot of homeschool parents might post without a second thought. When we first watched the video, we couldn't figure out what the outrage was about either. It looked harmless. But as soon as you scroll down to the comments section, the reason becomes very clear. People started pointing out something specific, the use of a pacifier. Some of the comments read things like, "Doing schoolwork with a pacifier. What the hell is that in her mouth?" Yeah, the comments aren't even wrong. That's actually crazy. Pacifier PJs giving her every answer, yep. The teachers are going to love this when you decide that you want her to go to an actual school. Pretend school to make mom look good. So yeah, people were really concerned, or should we say, outraged. And while this might not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, for those who had been following Whitney, it was obvious that her daughter was over 4 years old at the time, which is generally considered too old for pacifier use. This is not just an arbitrary opinion. Extended pacifier use beyond this age can contribute to speech delays, including difficulties with articulation and pronunciation. It's also associated with dental issues, like misaligned teeth, and many pediatric guidelines actually discourage older children from using pacifiers for these reasons. So while this might seem like a minor detail to casual viewers, for parents and caregivers, it was concerning. And this small, seemingly innocent choice is what sparked the initial wave of outrage that Whitney would later fan into a full-blown controversy. Another thing people quickly noticed about the video was how little room Whitney actually gave her kid to think. Every time she asked a question, she immediately answered it herself. Essentially, the 4-year-old wasn't really being taught so much, as she was being directed step by step, with a pacifier firmly in her mouth the whole time. Let's just take a moment to re-watch that part of the video.
Oh, and then we got you a coloring page for when you're done with this. There's your morning workflow. The weather looks like at your house. Where's the clouds? It's kind of like that, yeah. Fall. It's fall right here. Fall. Okay, look. And what's the temperature? Is it cold, cool, warm? Good job, you're so smart. Let's trace the... You trace it? Good job.
So yeah, it's hard to argue that much learning happening here. The child wasn't even given a chance to exercise her brain, get curious, or even process what was being shown. She was basically following instructions like a tiny, adorable robot with a pacifier as her microphone. Some commenters noticed this too. One wrote about how Whitney was telling her daughter she was smart for simply circling a few things and following directions. And while that might sound harmless or even sweet, experts generally warn against praising kids for doing very little. When children are rewarded for minimal effort, it can discourage them from really engaging with learning and reduce their motivation to try harder in the future. Now, to be fair, we're not here to throw a parenting trial. Sure, the pacifier shouldn't really be in her mouth during a lesson, and ideally the kid should be saying the words out loud instead of silently copying. But let's be real, parents aren't perfect. Mistakes happen. Sometimes things don't go according to plan, and every child develops differently. It's not exactly a reason to launch a full-scale internet crusade. That said, Whitney's response to the concerns is where things went off the rails. Instead of acknowledging that prolonged pacifier use could have consequences, like potential speech delays or visible dental issues, she chose to ignore the criticism and lash out. She mocked people, acted like rules didn't apply to her, and essentially posted a "Get Ready With Me" video a few days after the original video went viral, basically saying, "I don't care what anyone thinks. My kid can have a pacifier, it's no big deal."
So we can head out of here. Here we are. I just realized the internet is wild. Absolutely wild. With all these crazy comments about my child's passy. I'm gonna have to have money for dental bills and all this crazy stuff. And guess what? I do. And no, it's not from TikTok. Y'all, man, y'all need some this in your life with all these crazy comments. I know when you post stuff on social media and like put yourself out there, you kind of ask for it. But like, it'd be one thing if I actually cared, but I really don't. I mean, do y'all know how long I've been on the internet working online? I'm not new to this hate and negative comments and I know this and you should be doing this and you're not doing this right and blah 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 blah. Guess what? I don't care. I preach this all the time about who gives a crap what people have to say, and I truly mean that, because seriously, who gives a crap? Haters and negative comments get to me whether you think your opinion is right or not. I would have stopped a long time ago. If y'all think these comments about my child's passy is gonna get to me, you just keep going right ahead with your bad self, because I'm gonna read them and laugh.
And here's the really funny part. Well, funny if you have a strong stomach. Whitney keeps insisting over and over again that she doesn't care what anyone thinks. She says it with conviction. She posts it on video. She screams it into the void. But here's the thing. She definitely does care. You can see it written all over her face. Every word, every smirk, every deliberate action screams, "Look at me. Look at this controversy. I'm giving it all the attention it deserves."
I really don't even know why I'm feeling the need to even explain myself, because really it's not even that crucial. But hey, it makes for more content. And also, for those of you that were wondering, I've also decided I bought her the brightest pink passy I could find. So now is gonna have Raylan at 4 years old with her bright pink single video, just to irk y'all. Actually, I thought about buying a different color for every outfit so that it matches her pajamas every single morning when we start homeschool. Before we get ready, you know, because heaven forbid her start school in her pajamas, and heaven forbid her have a passy in her mouth, and heaven forbid her mom tell her she's smart, because that might not give her growth mindset, and heaven forbid, you know, we baby our kids a little bit at 4 years old. Someone also said, you knew what you were doing when you posted that video. You knew people were going to come for you. And so anyways, with that being said, y'all have a fabulous Saturday. And actually, if you're a little stressed, how about go buy your own passy? It might make a difference. Bye.
And that attitude, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Almost every video you scroll through now carries the same mean girl energy, confrontational vibe, and refusal to listen. It's the kind of personality that turns a relatively small parenting debate into a viral spectacle. We mean, not only does she insist she has the money to fix any potential dental issues later, she apparently decided to get her daughter the brightest, most obnoxious pink pacifier she could find to deliberately irk anyone watching. That's not just dismissive, that's next level pettiness. It's honestly kind of insane. She doesn't seem to care about the potential effects on her child, she cares about pissing people off. Someone even commented on this video saying, I know this will damage my child, but it's fine. I'll just pay to fix it later and put her through unnecessary pain. And Whitney replied with, yup, that's exactly my thought process. At this point, it's actually infuriating. Watching her videos, seeing this behavior, it gets under your skin. Not because of a child's pacifier, but because of the sheer arrogance, the deliberate defiance, and the performative ego on display. It's wild, it's petty, and honestly, it's a little terrifying that this is the face of modern momfluencer culture. But the reality is, if you put your parenting online, especially in a way that influences others, people will notice things, good, bad, or weird. And if you happen to defend keeping a pacifier in a 4-year-old's mouth while dismissing genuine health concerns, well, the internet isn't going to let that slide quietly. We mean, you can even see the older girls in the background in the clip. They're just standing there, watching their mom randomly get passive-aggressive with the camera and the internet. And whether Whitney realizes it or not, that kind of behavior teaches kids something. When they watch their parent turn criticism into mockery and arguments, they're learning that this is how you deal with people you disagree with. And not to mention the fact that her youngest child has a very big overbite. And can anyone guess why? Well, because Whitney refuses to listen to anyone. And like we said earlier, this was only the beginning of Whitney's increasingly bizarre responses, because the most insane display of pettiness came when she uploaded another video where she literally shoved her toddler's face right up to the camera and started making the child perform for the audience.
Okay, so for those of you that keep still blowing up this whole pacifier thing with her yesterday, which whatever, thank you for the comments, because any comments are good comments, right?
The entire point of the video was basically to prove that everyone online was wrong. Whitney started asking the child to say different words, name things, repeat phrases, almost like she was running a live demonstration for the internet.
We're gonna show you how well educated this child is. She just turned 4, and I can guarantee you, she talks better than most 30-year-olds on this app, even with a passy in her mouth, and how well she speaks, okay? Since some of you are so concerned about how it's gonna delay her speech and all this other stuff, even though I really don't care, but I'm an Aries, so I like to prove my point, and so here we are.
But once again, if you watch the clip carefully, the same pattern shows up. The child isn't really thinking through answers. Whitney is feeding her the words, telling her exactly what to say, and the kid simply repeats them back.
Say hi.
Hi.
What's your name? And how old are you?
4.
4. And what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Purple. And what's your favorite thing to do? Do you like to swim? You can talk. You're being shy in front of the camera. No one can see you right now. Do you want to talk? And you like to build blocks?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do at home?
Play with blocks.
Play with blocks. And what's your favorite thing to do outside of the house?
Swim in the pool.
Swim in the pool. You're a good swimmer, aren't you?
What's your favorite dinosaur? Pink.
Yeah, but you know all kinds of dinosaurs. What's your favorite kind of dinosaur? What was it? T-Rex and what'd you call it? Triceratops, pterodactyl. Can you say those? T-Rex.
You have to say it loud if they can hear you so you can talk.
And then right at the end of the video, Whitney even says that her daughter actually wanted to do something else. Instead of the peace sign, she actually wanted to flip them all a finger, which is honestly kind of wild.
Can you say bye, everyone?
Bye.
Say bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Say have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day.
Say peace. She really wants to do something else.
So yes, that video ended up being outrageous for several reasons. And unsurprisingly, Whitney eventually deleted it from her account. We weren't able to find the original upload anywhere else, but thankfully another creator had covered it at the time and saved the footage. So shout out to them for preserving this little piece of internet history. Because what Whitney was doing here was genuinely questionable. Using your kid as a prop in an argument with strangers online is already bad enough, but forcing them into a prove the hater is wrong performance takes it to another level. And what makes this moment even more telling is that Whitney's own husband can be heard in the background while she's filming the video. At one point, he literally tells her to calm down. He says that if she believes their daughter is smart, then that's all that matters. There's no need to prove it to strangers on the internet. No need to put their 4-year-old on display just to win an argument with people in the comments section, which honestly is probably the most reasonable thing anyone says during this entire situation. But Whitney doesn't really take that advice. Instead, she responds by saying that she's making the video for herself.
Say, guys, I'm just little
Nothing's wrong
and
with her.
I
wouldn't even
love
make a
my
video.
passy,
She's
okay?
smart,
I don't
baby.
care. I'm not making a video for anyone but myself. My husband's pissed because it's really annoying.
Now, let's be honest for a second here. That explanation doesn't really hold up. Because if you're supposedly making something just for yourself, you probably wouldn't be uploading it to TikTok for thousands of people to watch in the middle of a viral controversy. And the craziest part, Whitney still wasn't done. She kept posting more videos, doubling down on her stance. In one of them, she says, "Happy Saturday to all of my new followers, except the ones making rude comments over my toddler's passy." And if you go through the comments section, you'll notice something else. Whitney was constantly responding to people, like nonstop. Comment after comment after comment, and some of those replies are honestly pretty awful. So let's read a few of them. "Oh, she's bothered. She replied to this saying, 'So bothered, just watching my account grow. Thanks, boo.'" Another person wrote, "Do you know how long I've been on the internet and working online? I'm not new to this." After she starts the video with, "I just realized the internet is wild," she responded with, "I guess I should have rephrased it to TikTok ignorance is wild." Another comment reads, "It's okay to take criticism and do better. No one is perfect." And Whitney replies, "I don't need to do better. I do the best I can. And my kids are loved and very well taken care of. Period." Someone else said, "You swear you're so unbothered." And she again responds with, "Never. Makes for great content." And the comments we just showed you, those are actually some of the milder ones. As this story continues, you'll see that some of the other reactions were far harsher. Whitney, meanwhile, kept repeating the same narrative over and over again, that she was completely unbothered by the criticism. But if you actually watch the videos, it's pretty clear that she was anything but unbothered. She looked visibly irritated, constantly responding to comments, constantly making new videos about the backlash. The real issue wasn't that people were criticizing her. The problem was that she wasn't willing to accept even a tiny bit of criticism. Every comment was treated like a personal attack, and every response from her felt like she was trying to prove something. At one point, she even posted a video that included one of her older daughters. The caption read something along the lines of, "Teaching my daughter how to handle haters," while lip-syncing to Taylor Swift's "I Forgot That You Existed." And the attitude in that video was something else.
I forgot that you existed. Tell me about it. Oh, yeah, so peaceful and
Both of them were staring into the camera with this exaggerated, almost mocking energy, clearly directed at the people criticizing Whitney online. And unsurprisingly, people were quick to point out that teaching your kids to mock criticism instead of handling it maturely might not be the best lesson. Some of the comments under that post said exactly that. Same maturity level. I always wondered about the parents of the bullies in school. This answered all of my questions. The parents are the ones teaching them and encouraging it. Someone said, money doesn't translate into good parenting. And Whitney had the audacity to reply with, you must not have any then. I mean, if this is not absolutely infuriating, we don't know what is. Another comment on her post read, ooh, she's going to be one of those. And Whitney said, what? One of those who don't give a crap about your opinions? Yup, I'll keep doing that. But somehow things managed to get even more bizarre. Only a few days after the original homeschooling video went viral, Whitney uploaded another clip where she was bleaching her daughter's hair. Now, this is something most parents probably would think twice about posting, especially when you're already in the middle of a controversy involving a young child's pacifier. Bleaching a child's hair is something already people consider questionable, depending on the age. Some people might overlook it for older kids, but doing it to a 4-year-old, right in the middle of a parenting controversy, felt extremely deliberate. And once again, Whitney made things worse by responding to the comments. Some people wrote things like, my baby needs a pacifier but also needs money pieces. The child still young enough for a pacifier is getting her hair bleached. The toddler is getting her hair bleached, LOL. Why are we bleaching hair this young? And Whitney's response, because I can. Which pretty much sums up her entire approach to this situation. And if you think Whitney's responses couldn't get any worse, think again. In one of her videos, a commenter said that she reminded them of Ruby Frank. And Whitney's response to that, drum roll please, at least she's pretty. Now, for those of you who might not know, Ruby Frank was a family vlogger who ran the channel 8 Passengers. For years, she documented life with her 6 kids. But behind the scenes, things were far darker. In 2023, authorities discovered that 2 of her children had been severely abused and neglected, which led to her arrest and eventual conviction on multiple counts of aggravated child abuse. So when someone compares you to Ruby Frank, that's not exactly a joke. Whitney's response, being at least she's pretty, honestly says a lot about her mindset. Now, with all that being said, it's worth taking a step back and looking at Whitney's overall mindset, because from what we were able to find, she comes across as a pretty contradictory person. One thing that becomes very clear when you scroll through her content is that she absolutely despises traditional schooling. Whitney is very outspoken about the fact that she believes homeschooling is the better option for children, and she frequently posts content criticizing public schools. For example, after the release of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, Whitney posted a video saying, if you're a mama and you've read any of the Epstein files and you're still taking your kids to public school instead of figuring out a way to keep them home, that's wild behavior. And this is where things start to get frustrating. A lot of people who share Whitney's views tend to jump to the conclusion that if something bad happens somewhere, the solution is to completely isolate children from the world. But realistically, taking away kids' freedom and opportunities to socialize isn't necessarily the answer. The real solution is to identify perpetrators and hold them accountable, not shut down entire systems because wrongdoings exist within them. Keeping kids locked away from the outside world doesn't eliminate problems, it just shifts them somewhere else. In fact, many people who actually grew up in extremely overprotective households talk openly about how damaging that experience can be. Under one of Whitney's posts, a user shared their own perspective, writing, "Oh boy, I was raised by overprotective parents, and let me tell you that did not go well. I've paid thousands of dollars trying to heal from it. Overprotecting kids doesn't get them anywhere. You need to teach your kids how to defend themselves and save themselves while living in an evil world." And comments like that really highlight the bigger point here. The goal of parenting isn't to completely shield children from every possible danger by locking them away from society. The goal is to prepare them for the real world. Now, the second argument Whitney often pushes is that homeschooling is simply better than public education. But research on this topic is a lot more nuanced. Homeschooling can absolutely work in some situations, but it also requires a high level of dedication, structure, and educational knowledge from the parent. Without that, it can actually limit a child's academic development and social exposure. That said, homeschooling versus public schooling is a much bigger debate, and ultimately, it's a decision parents have the right to make for their own families. The real concern isn't necessarily the choice to homeschool, it's how that education is being delivered and what kind of curriculum is being used. And that brings us to something Whitney has mentioned before. When people asked her what program she follows for her children's education, she said that she uses a curriculum called The Good and the Beautiful. Now, this curriculum is a faith-based Mormon homeschooling program that focuses heavily on Christian values alongside traditional subjects like reading, writing, and math. It's fairly popular among certain homeschooling communities, but it's also faced criticism over the years. Some educators argue that parts of the material promote strong religious viewpoints, limited perspectives on science and history and traditional gender roles, which critics may say not give children a fully balanced education. People on Reddit actually hate this curriculum to the point that they've written whole essays on it. So yeah, a lot of people don't think this is the best curriculum to follow, but Whitney seems to love it because, well, it's Christian and it probably aligns with her personal beliefs and level of education. But another big part of this mom's personality that people keep pointing out is the hypocrisy. And the level of hypocrisy here is pretty absurd. Whitney constantly talks about obedience, love, faith, and God, and she presents herself as a very religious, morally guided parent. But at the same time, she doesn't seem to have enough awareness to avoid playing explicit music and lip-syncing to it right in front of her kids. There are several videos on her account that people pointed out. For example, there's one clip where Cardi B's song is playing in the background while their kids are literally right there, swimming in the pool. And just to put things into perspective, the lyrics read, "Bitch, pipe down. Mood board. All y'all imitating my style. Bad bitch, red lips, let me show you. White toes eating yellowtail out of Nobu. Keep a hater obsessed. In my comments, have a contest." And then there's another video where she's lip-syncing to another Cardi B track while her daughters are sitting in the backseat of the car.
You don't like me, get it line, so I be on your mind, though. Bitch, you know what? Think you just hate it cause I'm fine, ho. Bitch, you a dick. Don't look me to stay up.
Now, a lot of viewers feel that this is completely contradictory to the strict religious and moral image she tries to present online. On one hand, she's preaching about Christian values and proper upbringing. And on the other hand, she's casually blasting explicit rap lyrics with her kids sitting right next to her. And because of all this, some people also believe that the entire situation might not have been accidental at all. A few viewers think Whitney may have leaned into the pacifier controversy on purpose, because controversy brings views. She even hinted at it herself in some of her replies, saying things like, "It makes for good content," which only made people more suspicious that the drama was being used to push her account further. Another reason some people think Whitney might have leaned into the controversy is that, well, she's what many people would call an MLM mom. If you go over to her TikTok profile, her bio reads, "Mama of 4 girls, esthetician for 20 years, top leader at Pharma Official," and right underneath that, there's a convenient little link that says, "Click to work with me." Now, if you don't know what an MLM is, it stands for multi-level marketing. In theory, these companies sell products through independent sellers who promote them online. But the real focus isn't just selling products, it's recruiting more people underneath you to sell those products too. And that's where things get interesting. Because the more people you recruit, the more money you can potentially earn from their sales. So instead of just having customers, you end up building a sort of pyramid-shaped structure of sellers recruiting other sellers. Companies usually insist it's not a pyramid scheme, of course. It's a business opportunity, a boss babe movement, or a chance to be a CEO from your phone. But critics have pointed out for years that the vast majority of people who join MLMs are scams. This is why MLM influencers often rely heavily on social media attention. The bigger your audience, the easier it is to recruit new people into your team. And controversy, drama, and viral moments just happen to be very good at bringing attention to a page. So when Whitney suddenly finds herself in the middle of a viral parenting debate, some people can't help but wonder whether all that engagement might also be very convenient for someone trying to grow an MLM audience. And as you might expect, Whitney has been seen dropping links and trying to promote these products throughout her videos. Honestly, it's kind of disturbing that she's been using her children and their very real experiences as content to create chaos and sell stuff at the same time. However, no matter how much she tried to rage bait people and add fuel to the fire, her fame didn't last forever. This whole thing happened back in September 2025, and since then, her views have plummeted back to what they were before. So all the drama, outrage, and attention were really only temporary, because eventually people just stopped paying attention. But the bigger point here isn't whether Whitney's antics worked, it's the fact that moms like her exist on social media, willing to put their kids at risk for content, views, or profit. That's what makes this situation concerning. Whitney is still active online. In fact, she recently posted a video acting all progressive.
Good morning. So I don't get on here very much, and actually I never get on here, and I'm vulnerable. So I'm going to talk about something that I don't really tell a lot of people, especially on the internet. But I do think that it needs to be talked about. The fact that anxiety and depression are a real thing, and I have struggled with it
This was just a few days ago, and really it doesn't seem like she truly believes in mental health support, because if she did, she'd be paying attention to her children's mental well-being as much as she cares about her image online. That's all we have for today's video. Leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about this mom and her approach to parenting. For years, the internet watched a girl grow up in front of millions of strangers, and almost none of it felt normal. Pregnancy pranks that left viewers confused and uncomfortable. A leaked audio recording that exposed a secret abortion when she was just 14.
Do this at this age. I'm letting you do that. I allowed you to have an abortion. And this is all the shit that they're saying.
And a mother accusing of pushing her daughter deeper into the spotlight, no matter the cost.
Yeah, she admitted she used to edit herself, and she doesn't anymore. Danny, show them your body so they can be quiet.
This is the story of Danielle Cohn.
Had an abortion. Yes, I did have an abortion.
Y'all. Guess what? You still have 3 years until you're 18. I can control you for 3.
Including my adopted brother, I'm sure you guys all know him, that have claimed that they have been actually assaulted by Michael Weist. And I didn't believe it. My dad he definitely would drink a lot of alcohol. He would smoke a lot of marijuana.
Back in 2016 and 17, she was everywhere. On Musical.ly, Danielle wasn't just another kid posting lip-sync videos. She was one of the platform's biggest stars, pulling in millions of followers, while most creators were still figuring out how the app even worked. But from the very beginning, something about the story didn't add up. Almost immediately, the internet began arguing about one thing: her real age. Some believed Danielle was the teenage influencer she claimed to be. Others were convinced she was much younger than the internet was being told, and that debate would spiral into something far darker.
Oh, it's messy. That first year we were dating, the whole time she was 12 years old and I had no idea.
None of us knew. I had no idea.
Over the years, Danielle's online life became a non-stop cycle of viral controversies, public relationships that played out entirely online, breakups, new boyfriends, and accusations that her personal life had become content. Then there were the pregnancy pranks, shocking announcements that went viral across social media, despite the fact that Danielle herself was still a minor. And just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get any more disturbing, a leaked audio recording involving her mother, Jennifer, would send the internet into a meltdown, appearing to reveal that Danielle had undergone an abortion while she was around 14 or 15 years old.
Until I literally faced the consequences of getting pregnant and having to get an abortion.
But the controversy didn't stop there. Years later, the same girl who started as a child star on Musical.ly would prove what many saw as inevitable, this time by joining Playboy's subscription platform, Centerfold. And for many people watching from the outside, it felt like the final chapter in a story that had gone off the rails long ago. So how did a kid lip-syncing on Musical.ly turn into one of the internet's most controversial teen influencers? And how much of it was actually her choice? This is the truth about Danielle Cohn.
What the hell is this?
I just feel like maybe they should be connected.
Overprotective boyfriend.
However, to understand the story of Danielle Cohn, we first need to look at her life before the fame, the events that shaped her into the teen influencer the internet knows today. Danielle Haley Cohn was born on March 7, 2006 in Florida, USA, although for many years her birth year remained a topic of major controversy online. At different times, she claimed 2004 as her birth year.
Birthday. This isn't true. March 7, 2006. They're off by 2 years, but it's...
The controversy around her age was so big that even listings like famous birthdays don't include her birth year because of all the confusion. And there was also a change.org petition for Danielle's age to be changed back to 14 on Google. She's the daughter of Jennifer Archambault and Dustin Cohn, and she has an older brother named Chad, who, by the way, was the subject of many weird videos by Danielle and her mother. For example, this one. My boyfriend and my brother rate my Fashion Nova outfit. They are mad.
What do you guys think?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You look like if a cheetah was left in Chernobyl.
I mean, yeah. Also, there are video compilations on YouTube of her brother being treated like absolute trash.
Louis Vuitton. I'm nervous. Underwear? Are you freaking serious, Mom? You got underwear? Oh my god, that's crazy.
Danielle's parents separated when she was very young, and her mother became the primary caregiver while her father was mostly absent. From a very young age, Danielle showed a strong interest in performing and modeling. Her mother encouraged her to take part in beauty pageants, a world that, while glamorous on the surface, is often extremely exploitative of children. In fact, this exploitation has been explored in documentaries about other young performers, like Jojo Siwa, who grew up in competitive performance environments and had to constantly balance childhood with public visibility. Jojo's story revealed just how unfair things can be. Despite earning significant money from her performances, much of it was controlled by her parents, leaving her with very little. We've already covered Jojo Siwa's story in detail in a previous video. If you want to check it out, the link will be left in the description. For now, let's get back to Danielle Cohn. In 2014, Danielle won the title of Miss Florida Junior Preteen Queen, a major early milestone that opened doors for modeling opportunities. Following that win, she began traveling for modeling work and was exposed to national modeling competitions and agencies, eventually working with brands and gaining further experience in front of the camera. While Danielle has claimed in the past that her father kicked her out of the house, her dad later publicly denied that this ever happened.
Dating other women for years. She knew that, but she just wanted to stay in the house because it was free. You guys, the children, were never kicked out. We made that very clear. The kids could stay at my house at any point. We did have an issue after multiple times and you destroying my house, and you weren't even living at my house anymore, but you were coming over to do Musical.lys and use my Wi-Fi. And so I was like, this is not gonna happen anymore, and I did lock the door.
During those early years, her mother, Jennifer, worked 2 jobs to support the family. On her night shifts, she would leave Danielle with 1 phone at home, and that's how she began exploring posting videos on social platforms like Musical.ly. In an interview with Teens Weekly Insider, she said, "I started Musical.ly at a rough time in my life. I was just kicked out of my dad's house, so I started Musical.ly to clear my mind. I got my first feature in February. Then I was crowned in March at 150K and have been growing ever since. I have 46 features and close to 4 million followers. Musical.ly has changed my life." Back in 2016, most people had never heard of Musical.ly. On the surface, it was just an app where kids could lip-sync to songs and post short videos. Parents and outsiders didn't understand it, but for teens, it was a fast track to fame, a place where a single video could explode overnight and turn anyone into an internet star. For Danielle Cohn, Musical.ly wasn't just a platform, it was the launchpad for her rise. As the app grew into today's TikTok, Danielle quickly learned how to capture attention, create drama, and build a following, all while the world watched a child navigating a space adults barely understood. In short, Danielle's rise did not begin with a planned internet strategy. It began with pageants, modeling, and a phone left at home, which led her into what would become one of the most controversial influencer careers of her generation. In 2016, Danielle uploaded her first videos to Musical.ly, the short-form video platform that would soon become the breeding ground for some of the biggest teen influencers of the decade. At a time when only a handful of creators were breaking through, Danielle quickly distinguished herself, becoming one of the few people to surpass 10 million total views on the platform. Her content was shared widely, and she was featured multiple times by Musical.ly itself, which gave her even greater visibility and credibility. Back in 2016, Musical.ly didn't pay creators for views the way YouTube does. Instead, earnings came mainly from fans sending virtual gifts during live streams, which could be cashed out, and from brand deals that big accounts could negotiate. There was no fixed payout per view. Even a video with millions of plays didn't generate money on its own, so creators like Danielle Cohn relied on engagement and sponsorships to turn their popularity into income. As her following grew, so did her earning potential. Soon, Danielle began receiving sponsored post offers, some paying as much as $500 per ad, a huge amount for a content creator still in her early teens. When that money started flowing in, everything changed. Her mother, Jennifer, quit both her jobs as a teacher and a night shift cashier and shifted into managing Danielle full-time, treating her daughter's social media presence like a serious business investment. Jennifer became deeply involved in every part of Danielle's life, from finances and scheduling to career decisions and partnerships. She not only managed Danielle's income, but also controlled all her finances, including sponsorship earnings and future bookings. She pretty much controlled her life.
Guess what? You still have 3 years until you're 18. I can control you for 3 more.
To accommodate the demands of her growing influencer career, Jennifer also enrolled Danielle in online Christian schooling, ensuring that traditional education wouldn't interfere with her content schedule or travel commitments. Jennifer later explained that she used about 20% of Danielle's income to pay bills, only 15 to 20% to savings, with the rest going back into Danielle's lifestyle. In 2017, the duo made a pivotal move. They relocated to Los Angeles, the epicenter of entertainment and influencer culture, hoping to secure bigger opportunities. And it worked. Danielle began landing major brand partnerships with household names like Target, Live Nation, and Samsung, a sign that she was no longer just another Musical.ly kid, but a sponsored online personality with commercial appeal. She wasn't just doing influencer ads either. Danielle expanded into music and performance, releasing professionally produced music videos and attending events like VidCon Live, where she performed her debut single, Marilyn Monroe.
Hey! Get it, girl. It's your moment.
Now this way too easy for me. All the boys in the block like Sesame Street. Yeah, Danny back at it again. Yeah, Danny back at it again. Diva on it. No boys allowed. I want it now. Yeah, I'm a diva like Marilyn.
The exposure was massive. That same year, she earned a nomination for a Teen Choice Award, an achievement that signaled she was being recognized not just on TikTok, but by mainstream teen culture as well. Everything was moving fast. Danielle's rise on Musical.ly was meteoric, but with fame and money came new pressures, expectations, and controversies that would soon follow. Fame didn't come easy for Danielle Cohn. Quicker than she could have imagined, the same fans who once loved her started creating hate pages on Instagram and TikTok, posting edited, distorted photos of her face and mocking her every move. The backlash was very real. People criticized everything from her appearance to her personal life. Her music, including popular tracks like Marilyn and Somebody Like You, faced heavy scrutiny. Critics said her voice was weak, heavily auto-tuned, and didn't live up to the hype, turning even her creative work into fodder for ridicule. There's actually a website called Horrible Music Wiki, which refers to Danny's music as absolutely horrid and overly auto-tuned. There are also YouTube compilations comparing her original and auto-tuned voice.
I should have a party, I'm thinking. Musically out of my head when I finish. Everybody wanna copy what I'm swag, even on my hoverboard. I should have a party, I'm thinking. Musically all in my head when I'm dreaming. Everybody wanna copy what I'm...
So yeah, every post, every video, every song seemed to invite more drama, more judgment, and more viral outrage, showing that online fame was far from glamorous. But the backlash was far from over. In fact, we're only just getting started. One of the first things Danielle faced criticism for was the way she dressed. Her videos on TikTok and Musical.ly became increasingly revealing, with outfits that many said were far too mature for someone her age. Bikini photos, provocative poses, and suggestive content became a recurring theme, and that was just the beginning. Even more shocking was her mother's role. In an old video, Jennifer Archambault reportedly encouraged Danielle to show off her body, telling her to flaunt herself for the camera, a moment that viewers called absolutely revolting.
Hey, yeah, she admitted she used to edit herself, and she doesn't anymore. Danny, show them your body so they can be quiet.
Many of these clips, still available on Danielle's channel nearly 6 years later, show her at no more than 14 years old, performing for the camera in ways that sparked massive outrage. The content didn't stop at fashion. Danielle created haul videos, often featuring her boyfriend reacting to her outfits, which content critics called too inappropriate for her age.
I don't know.
I just feel like maybe this should be connected. That would be cute.
Yeah.
Other videos included bikini try-ons with friends, kissing her boyfriend in front of others, pregnancy pranks, and clips showing her mother going through her phone. And the kicker, most of this was sponsored content. Every provocative haul, reaction, or prank wasn't just for clicks. It was a carefully monetized setup designed to turn Danielle's teenage drama into income. For example, this video titled Target vs. Walmart Swimsuit Haul, Intense Results. There's a picture of Danielle with her body covered with text and a winky face emoji in the thumbnail. If you actually look at the video description, you'll see it was sponsored by a brand called Bang Energy, which appears to be an energy drink company. But here's the shocking part. The video was posted in 2019 when Danielle was just 13 years old. It's hard to believe that a real brand was paying a child that young to promote their product through a bikini haul video, complete with a suggestive thumbnail and a clickbait title designed to get maximum attention. The fact that this content was sponsored and monetized at such a young age is nothing short of outrageous, and it sparked outrage across social media. However, one of the biggest controversies surrounding Danielle Cohn has always been her age. Danielle claimed she was 2 years older than she actually was, but evidence quickly cast doubt on that story. Yearbook photos from 2016 to 2017 reportedly show her in grade 4, suggesting that she was much younger than her online persona implied. These pictures were posted by a Redditor who claimed to have been in the same grade as Danielle in 2016. Other creators who knew her personally, like Mads, who has known Danielle since she was 9, have said that her age was always confusing. She said that Danielle looked at her mother to even answer what grade she was in, and also that she had been to her 16th birthday twice.
Thoughts on Danielle Cohn?
I've known Danielle Cohn. Let's just put this out. I'm done. Let me just put this out. I've known Danielle Cohn since I was, 11? I met her when she was 9 years old. She's lying about her age, 100%.
Oh my God.
That's about it. I met her.
You didn't have to air her out like that.
We were in New York, and she turns, and she looks we were on live, and she looks at her mom, and to see what age or class she's supposed to be in. And she was like, I'm in 7th. No, I'm in 6th. I'm in 6th. I was like, oh, boom, done. And I met her at a certain age, and then she just jumped 2 ages. And I was like, oh, this is nuts.
Mads and I went to her 16th birthday twice.
Yeah. She's definitely...
You had 2 16th
Wait, she had 2 16th
Yes!
birthdays?
Yes! Notice how she
That's
wasn't
actually
driving
hilarious.
supposed to because she told everybody her mom would just drive her around. It's because she couldn't have a license because she wasn't 16 yet.
That's actually hilarious.
Now she's 16. Yes, but...
She's only...
Other pieces of evidence also began surfacing online. Girls who had done cheerleading with Danielle when she was younger later shared old photos from that time, claiming that Danielle would have been around 13 years old in 2019. Adding to the mystery are old videos from her mother Jennifer's YouTube channel dating back to 2012 when Danielle was only 6 years old. The video was uploaded on June 23, 2012, and the description reads, "My little 6-year-old daughter singing karaoke at the Yogi Bear campground. She's singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." Now let's do some simple math here. If Danielle Cohn was actually born in 2004 as her mother Jennifer claimed online, she would have been 8 years old in 2012. But the video description clearly states she was 6 at the time, which places her birth year closer to 2006 instead. That timeline also lines up with the yearbook photos from 2016 to 2017, which show Danielle in grade 4. In addition to this, there have been several other indications as well. For instance, during one live stream, Danielle accidentally fumbled and seemingly revealed her real age.
And to see what age or class she's supposed to be in. And she was like...
So yeah, this live stream we believe happened in 2020, and she said that she would turn 19 or 20 in 5 or 6 years, which means she was 14 at that time, born in 2006. Then, if you look at her more recent activity, another inconsistency appears. She very recently turned 20 in March 2026, and even posted a video with a Morgan Wallen 20 cigarettes playing in the background, essentially confirming she had just turned 20. But if she were actually born in 2004, as has often been claimed, she would be 22 years old right now, not 20. Fans were quick to point out this contradiction, though Danielle once again offered a rather weak explanation, saying that it was the theme and that is her favorite song. However, there are also more concrete pieces of evidence. In 2019, her father made a Facebook post addressing the situation directly. In that post, he stated that Danielle was 13 years old at the time, not 15. And to support his claim, her grandmother even posted a photo of her birth certificate, which clearly states her birth year to be 2006. In the Facebook post, he said he was coming forward now because he believed his daughter was being exploited for money. Dustin also called out the brands that had worked with Danielle, accusing them of failing to properly verify her age before partnering with her. In his post, he wrote that he wanted these companies to be held accountable because they never did their due diligence in checking my daughter's age and have used a minor for profit because the money is more important than the truth. He ended by saying that the exploitation of children on these platforms needs to stop. However, despite these accusations, Danielle and her mother continued to deny the claims. In response, Danielle posted long messages on her social media stories, pushing back against her father's statements. She claimed that her father had been largely absent from her life, saying she had little to no relationship with him. According to Danielle, the person speaking out online was someone who barely knew her or her reality, framing the situation as a family dispute rather than evidence of wrongdoing. But the situation quickly became even more bizarre. Soon after Danielle posted those emotional messages about her father, people began looking more closely at what she had written, and that's when viewers noticed something strange. Parts of her statement appeared to be copied from a 2016 article written by a university student titled, "A Thank You Letter to My Absent Father." When the two texts were placed side by side, lines seemed almost identical, leading many people online to accuse Danielle of copying the letter and presenting it as her own personal story. What was meant to be a heartfelt response quickly turned into another wave of controversy, further fueling skepticism about the situation. This discovery made many people question whether Danielle's message had come from the heart at all. It's one thing to take inspiration from something, but critics pointed out that the entire text appeared to be copied word for word, which many found both strange and ironic, given how emotional the situation was supposed to be. As a result, people began to doubt parts of her story. Regardless of the complicated reasons behind her parents' separation, some viewers felt that her father seemed to be the only one speaking out about what he believed was in Danielle's best interest. But Danielle strongly rejected those claims. In an attempt to prove that she really was born in 2004, Danielle Cohn posted a screenshot of what appeared to be a work permit listing her birth year as 2004. However, critics quickly pushed back, arguing that the document didn't prove much. According to people familiar with the process, these permits don't always require a birth certificate or strict verification, and in some cases, they can be obtained online with minimal checks, which meant the document did little to settle the debate about her real age. But the drama with Danielle's father was far from over. Dustin Cohn didn't just make a single Facebook post, he continued speaking out, uploading several videos addressing this situation. In one of them, he even claimed to be holding Danielle's birth certificate, presenting it as proof of her real age.
First, everybody's been asking about the birth certificate, so here it is. Obviously, she is 14, just turned 14 on March 7th. She was born on 2006. Here is the proof. Multiple people have shown this birth certificate. My mom had multiple members of her family calling her constantly, screaming at her, leaving crazy messages over the fact that she told the truth. Once again, this is the true birth certificate. I will show it again as many times as we need. This is to prove that this is what's going to happen.
According to Dustin, the situation behind the scenes had become even more complicated. He alleged that his wife had been threatened by Danielle's manager, Michael Weist, for speaking publicly about Danielle's real birth year. Because of this, Dustin said he felt compelled to release more information and explain his side of the story. Now, this entire situation quickly became messy, and multiple family members began getting involved. After Dustin's initial video, Danielle's mother, Jennifer, publicly dismissed his claims. She commented on his video, calling him delusional. Danielle's uncle also posted a video about the situation on social media, which Danielle reposted, while her brother Chad briefly addressed the controversy in one of Danielle's own videos.
Hey everybody, this is the real Dustin Cohn. I wanted to make this video to come clean and show you how of a father I was back in the day. Here's a hole I put in the wall. If you want to know the truth of everything, I kicked my fiance out of the house, let her and the two kids go live with some other family, basically sending them to the streets. But I want to be honest, and I'm going to start sharing the truth from here.
But not once did he come to any one of our football games, Danny's cheer games, one of her pageants. He never supported her. This is the hotel room, and September 19th, 2015, he sends Matt a message apologizing for how he treated my mom, Matt's sister, and him that night.
Soon after, Danielle released a video of her own titled "The Truth About My Dad." In it, she described a difficult family environment, claiming that her parents used to fight frequently and accusing her father of drinking, smoking, and even kicking her out of the house at one point.
My age, I know all of that, so it shouldn't matter to you guys. You can't pick up the phone and call me and say what you need to say. Like, I don't have your number blocked. I would never block your number. Today, because my stepmom called them, she calls the cops all the time on us, and we have to deal with them. And what did they do? Did they take me? No, because I'm fine, and my mom is a great mom, and she doesn't do anything. Like, I know you guys have your opinions, but I'm telling you right now, if my mom was a bad mom, or if I didn't want to live with her, I would leave. He's just not a good person. And I hate saying that because he is my dad, and I want to see the best in him.
Dustin later responded with videos telling his side of the story, denying those accusations, and insisting that his children were never kicked out of the house.
If I posted the birth certificate and stuff, they would come back at me with nasty, defamatory comments just because that's what they do. Danielle could probably make the same amount of money and live the same way, and they could still all have their same freebies they get if she just acted like a 14-year-old, or at least dressed properly. I haven't got to see my daughter in a year because I told dating other women for years. She knew that, but she just wanted to stay in the house because it was free. You guys, the children, were never kicked out. We made that very clear. The kids could stay at my house at any point. We did have an issue after multiple times and you destroying my house, and you weren't even living at my house anymore, but you were coming over to do Musical.lys and use my Wi-Fi. And so I was like, this is not going to happen anymore, and I did lock the door.
So yeah, what started as a debate about Danielle's age had now turned into a very public family conflict, with both sides sharing completely different versions of the truth, and millions of people online watching it unfold. Beyond all of this, more pieces of supposed evidence began circulating online. Some users even claimed to find old photos of Danielle's mother from the day she gave birth, where the hospital wristband on her hand appeared to show a date pointing to 2006. Other photos taken shortly before the birth also seemed to display timestamps from that same year. For many people following the drama, these images only added more fuel to the argument that Danielle Cohn had actually been born in 2006, not 2004 as had been claimed online. Now, at this point, the age debate is largely settled. Most people today believe that Danielle Cohn was not actually born in 2004, despite the claims that were made online. But to understand how this entire controversy exploded, we need to step back in the timeline, because the moment that truly ignited the age debate happened during one of Danielle's most talked about breakups. That breakup was with Mikey Tua, one of the most consistent boyfriends she had during her early influencer years. According to reports and posts circulating online at the time, the relationship ended after Mikey allegedly discovered that Danielle was only 13 years old. The situation escalated when Mikey's mother even reposted a photo of Danielle's birth certificate. But the drama surrounding Danielle's relationships goes far beyond just one breakup. In fact, her dating life became one of the most consistent storylines across her social media. Nearly every relationship she entered was documented online for millions to see, with couples videos, pranks, and dramatic updates posted across YouTube and TikTok. And just as quickly as those relationships appeared, they often ended, only for a new one to begin shortly after. So while it's impossible to cover every single breakup and patch-up, we're going to focus on the most notable and controversial ones. There are reports and social speculation that Danielle was dating as young as 10 or 11, long before most people knew her name. During the early phase of her Musical.ly fame in 2016 to 2017, she was linked to several young boys, including Nelson Aguilar, Richard Ortiz, Jaden Price, and Owen Bodnar. There were even rumors of a short romance with Cole Collodi in 2017. For the record, Cole's birthday is March 8th, 2001. So in 2017, he was 16 and Danielle was just 11. Yeah, you heard that right. However, her first more consistent and widely publicized relationship came in late 2017, when she started dating fellow social media personality Sebastian Tepetti. The two were frequently seen together in public and online content throughout late 2017 and early 2018, before their relationship ended in mid-2018. As for their ages, Danielle was somewhere around 11 to 12 years old, and Sebastian, born in 2000, was 17 years old. And then there's the relationship that truly captured the internet's attention. It began in June 2018 with influencer Mikey Tua. Danielle and Mikey had become one of the platform's most visible couples, posting videos of pranks, couple challenges, and even a fake pregnancy and marriage stunt that drew huge attention and criticism. Their on-again, off-again relationship lasted until the end of 2020, with multiple public breakups and reconciliations that kept fans glued to their content. As for Mikey's age, he was born in 2002, so when Danielle and Mikey started dating in 2018, Danielle was 12 and Mikey was 16. Between these periods with Mikey, Danielle was also linked to Ethan Fair from 2019 to January 2020, a fellow TikTok creator who she had known since her Musical.ly days. Ethan, just like all her other boyfriends, was a lot older. He was born in 2003, so he was roughly 16, and Danielle was 13 or 14 at the time. Shortly after that, in early 2020, she was briefly connected with Landon Barker, the son of Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker, appearing together in content for a few months before going their separate ways by March 2020. Danielle and Mikey Tua reunited briefly from May to December 2020, surprising fans with another round of content before splitting again. Following the end of that saga, Danielle began dating Mason Patterson in late 2021. Mason was 19 when he started dating Danielle, who was 15 at the time, by the way. Their relationship was publicly documented through 2021 and 2022, but by late 2022, the couple had confirmed their breakup. Through all these relationships, one thing remained consistent. Danielle's personal life was always content. Now, we're sure you guys can forgive us for leaving out some of the smaller breakups and short-lived flings here and there. After all, that's not really what today's video is about. But there's one relationship drama that we do want to cover in detail, the one between Danielle Cohn and Mikey Tua. Their relationship became one of the most publicly discussed and chaotic storylines of Danielle's career. And the reason we're focusing on it isn't just because of how messy it was or because there seemed to be other boys involved at different points in time. We're talking about it because Mikey later came forward publicly, speaking about the relationship and claiming that Danielle's mother, Jennifer, had also tried to control aspects of his life and career during that time.
I was more than fine financially.
But Jen can be controlling with that. And then sometimes she would put the kids in situations where she doesn't buy groceries for the house. And I know this sounds really silly.
No, she does not.
So there's nothing in the house, okay?
Because what I was witnessing was abuse.
But they never ended up getting to Dustin's house. How did Jen...
But before we get into that part of the story, we have to talk about one of the most bizarre influencer scandals of the late 2010s. The pregnancy and marriage stunt. In April 2019, while Danielle and Mikey were dating, Mikey posted a photo on Instagram showing him kissing Danielle's stomach. And yes, according to the timeline, most people believe today Danielle would have been around 13 years old at the time. On April 11th, Mikey even posted this tweet, which people believed was the expected due date. The situation quickly escalated into a full-blown spectacle. The couple began posting a series of YouTube videos, turning this story into a multi-part narrative where they claimed Danielle was pregnant and that the two of them were planning to get married in Las Vegas. They even staged a gender reveal party, documenting the entire process online for millions of viewers.
Guys, it's Danielle here, back with another video. I'm currently at my gender reveal party and my best friend is here. She came to support me through this. She supports my pregnancy.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we set it all up. It's all cute for our little baby. Mike is upstairs. He's getting ready.
And as unbelievable as it sounds, they didn't stop there. The couple went as far as documenting a trip to Las Vegas, presenting it as their wedding journey and filming the entire event as if it were real.
Welcome to Las Vegas. Welcome to the Little Vegas Chapel. And welcome to a celebration of love and friendship and commitment. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, Mikey, you take Danny to be your best friend forever, to have, to hold, and to cherish from this day forward.
For viewers watching at the time, it was shocking, confusing, and deeply controversial. And it would later become one of the most criticized stunts in Danielle Cohn's entire career. In the end, the entire pregnancy and marriage saga turned out to be fake. After weeks of videos, speculation, and online drama, the couple eventually posted an apology, saying that pregnancy is not something to joke about and that they had taken the situation too far.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you guys all were entertained by it. We didn't mean to offend anyone. If you got offended or if you looked at it in a wrong way, that's definitely not what we were trying to do. We were just trying to make a fun video.
Also,
pranking our parents, pranking you guys. Just a fun thing. We've always seen pranks on YouTube and we were just like, we thought it would be fun to prank you guys. We definitely didn't think that it was gonna go as far as it did. We thought maybe just our YouTube followers would see it. But then we were just kind of like, we wanted to post it on Instagram. We were like, let's make this into like this huge prank with like episodes. Like I said, we did not think it was gonna go this far, but it ended up going this far, and we hope that it was a good prank for you guys and you guys enjoyed it.
yeah, we definitely hope that you guys were entertained by this. And with that being said, we do understand that we have a younger audience, and teen pregnancy is something that we don't take lightly.
But many viewers felt that this outcome was exactly what the whole stunt was designed to achieve: attention. And according to critics, the blame didn't fall entirely on Danielle herself. Much of the criticism was directed toward her mother, Jennifer Archambault, who many believed had been working behind the scenes the entire time, enabling and possibly even encouraging these kinds of ideas. In fact, Jennifer later defended the whole Las Vegas marriage storyline, claiming that it wasn't a publicity stunt, but simply a promise that the two teenagers had made to each other. Critics, however, found that explanation hard to believe, especially since the entire situation had been broadcast online as if it were a real wedding, complete with a pregnancy involving a 13-year-old girl. But the strange dynamics in this relationship didn't stop there. During the time Mikey Tua was dating Danielle, he was reportedly estranged from his own family. At one point, he even went live on social media and made several accusations about his mother.
And then I wasn't with her for a year. I turned 18 and got back with her.
Hey, that was the wrong time to get back with
Yeah.
her.
He actually flew to another state under a different name.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Mikey.
The other parent involved helped that.
What I was doing, my actions weren't good. And I mentally, wasn't there to, notice that.
Later, Mikey's mother appeared on podcasts discussing the situation and claimed that Danielle's team and her mother had wanted Mikey constantly around filming content.
He gained
From 30 to...
300,000 followers.
There had to be flags that about this industry, about this culture, this space. What were some of those? What were your initial thoughts in that moment?
I noticed that, Danielle had to have a boyfriend and that they were always together. I thought that was strange. And then I thought, I didn't see Danielle ever with a lot of friends.
She also alleged that Jennifer had even booked plane tickets for Mikey without his parents' permission, so he could travel and continue making videos with Danielle.
Birthday, and I was told that Jen got his ticket for him under Mikey Archambault. So if the flight records were tracked, because
you can check into a flight like that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he was a minor. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't need an ID.
Because it was 2 weeks until he was 18. That it wouldn't be.
How did that
noticed.
make you feel?
I mean, I want to kill her for it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
At the end of the day,
essentially kidnapped your son.
Right. I mean, and this is not the first time. She also did the exact same thing when she took him to the hotel and then hit him. I mean, and I have the receipt. I will give it to you so you can post it. 100%. She paid for it. She hid my child.
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Yes. There's no. I'm not making this up. You can't make this stuff up.
Would you say that you were?
Altogether, the situation became increasingly messy and uncomfortable to watch unfold online. Throughout all of it, critics argued that Danielle's mother appeared unbothered by the increasingly controversial situations her daughter was involved in, including relationships that people believed had questionable age gaps. Some even hid Danielle's real age from the boys she dated. Adding to the controversy, a woman who claimed to be Jennifer's close friend later said in a podcast that when Danielle was around 10 years old, Jennifer already believed that having a boyfriend would help Danielle stay popular online and create more content. According to that claim, Danielle's social media presence became heavily tied to whichever relationship she was in at the time.
Red flag started with me when Jennifer said that her daughter needed to have a relationship at 10 years old.
Even more disturbing allegations circulated online, with critics claiming that Danielle, while still underage, had been allowed to sleep in the same bedroom as her boyfriend inside the family home.
Oh, Ethan and Danny have the master bedroom. Even Ethan's family were like, yo, Ethan, come upstairs. And Jen is like, no, they're fine. I'm going to be down here.
For many viewers watching from the outside, the entire situation raised serious questions about boundaries, parenting, and the pressures of growing up as a child influencer in front of millions of people. Now, moving on, we also need to talk about another recurring issue that followed Danielle Cohn throughout her internet career: the accusations of taking content from other people. The essay she once posted for her father wasn't the only controversy of that kind. Over time, people began noticing that Danielle had a habit of borrowing ideas and content from others, and one incident in particular caused a major backlash online. This time, the controversy involved a song connected to the well-known R&B artist Ashanti. Danielle released a version of a song that strongly resembled one associated with Ashanti. She promoted it across her social media accounts and tweeted about it multiple times, referring to it as her song. And she didn't only promote it as her song, but she also capitalized it by selling merch related to the song. The problem was that many listeners quickly noticed that Danielle's version sounded almost identical to the original, with the lyrics being word for word the same, and only small differences in the instrumental beat. As a result, people online were quick to call it out. Critics pointed out that Ashanti wasn't properly credited when Danielle first promoted the track, and the situation looked even worse because Danielle had been presenting it publicly as if it were her own original release. The backlash grew quickly. Eventually, Danielle addressed the situation in a video. In that response, she clarified that the song was not actually hers and that the original belonged to Ashanti.
Hi guys, so I just want to clear this up. I did not steal Ashanti's song or take it from her. She's one of my favorite artists, and I wanted to remake her song, which is what I did. I did a cover. Many people do it, so I don't really know why I'm getting hate for it. I just wanted to remake one of my favorite songs, so if people could just stop saying that I took her song when I didn't. I even gave her credit and everything, so yeah, just stop, because obviously you don't know what you're talking about, so yeah, bye.
However, when she finally credited the artist, she described the track as being is Danielle's cover.
See, my days are cold without you, but I'm hurting while I'm with you. And though my heart can take no more, I keep on running back to you. See, my days are cold without.
So naturally, a lot of people felt that calling it inspired was misleading. To them, it looked less like inspiration and more like a poorly credited cover. And the situation looked even worse when people began checking the credits more closely. If you go to the credits listed under the YouTube upload of the song, the only names mentioned were Danielle Cohn herself, her producer Blake Brown, and the company she was working with at the time, All Star Music Group. There was no mention at all of Ashanti anywhere in the official YouTube credits. That absence raised even more questions online, because without proper crediting in the official listing, it would mean that Ashanti wouldn't receive any share from the YouTube monetization tied to the video. On top of that, Danielle was also promoting merchandise connected to the song, which again did not reference Ashanti. For critics, this made the situation look less like a simple misunderstanding and more like an attempt to package and sell the track as an original release, despite the song clearly originating from another artist. At the same time, many critics also pointed out something important. Danielle herself was still very young when all of this happened. A teenager isn't always fully aware of how music rights, credits, and intellectual property work. Because of that, many people believed the real responsibility lay with the adults around her, the managers, the marketing team, and especially her mother, who was helping her run her social media career and guiding what she was posting online. In fact, Danielle's mother, Jennifer Archambault, also stepped in to defend the situation. Jennifer claimed that the team had already received permission from Ashanti to release the track. She even posted a tweet saying that the song had been licensed by Ashanti's team. However, that tweet was later deleted, which originally read, "We got a license and went the right way, and Ashanti and her team will get their royalties. I am sickened at the amount of crap these people on the internet put her through. She is out here living her dream, and to have adults and kids attack her this badly." However, the fact that the song is no longer available on Danielle's official YouTube channel says a lot about whether the proper licensing actually existed in the first place. If permission had truly been secured, there would have been little reason for the track to quietly disappear later on. For many critics, this only reinforced the belief that the situation had been mishandled from the start. In their eyes, it looked as though Danielle's mother, Jennifer, had taken the song and pushed her daughter to promote it as if it were her own release, despite the clear connection to Ashanti. But while this controversy was unfolding, it wasn't the only thing people were talking about. Around this time, Danielle Cohn was at the absolute peak of her internet fame. Practically every online outlet, drama channel, and commentary page seemed to be discussing her, whether the coverage was positive or negative. And despite the constant controversies, The adults involved in managing her career didn't seem particularly concerned about the negative attention. As long as Danielle remained a trending topic, the publicity kept her name circulating across social media. But the nonstop attention also appeared to affect Danielle herself. Online, she often presented herself as a sweet and bubbly influencer, but several fans who met her in real life during that period claimed they had a very different experience. In 2019 and 2020, Danielle attended and performed at the social media convention Playlist Live, where influencers meet fans and participate in panels and meet and greet sessions. Some fans who interacted with her there later posted online saying that she came across as rude, dismissive, or uninterested during those encounters. A few even shared detailed posts describing their experiences meeting Danielle in person.
Fans are coming out on Twitter with reports that Danielle Kahn was rude to the fans who approached her. Apparently, this kind of behavior is pretty normal when she meets.
In addition to that, several people who attended the event also commented on her stage performance, saying it felt awkward and uncomfortable to watch. Here are some of the things people had to say about her. She was so stuck up and entitled. I thanked her for the picture and complimented her, and she just scoffed and walked away like she thought her fans weren't important. Another person posted, "My sister just met Danielle Cohn and said she was so rude, but she still got a pic, so she's iconic." Danielle later addressed those accusations and said that she's not a mean person, but she's just shy and awkward.
I got called out literally like 20 times for how mean I was to my fans. I just wanted to explain that really quick. I promise you I'm not a mean person. It's literally just the fact that I'm like such an awkward person.
However, mean interactions with fans were the least of our concerns at this point, because the pranks and stunts Danielle had pulled on her audience were about to be overshadowed by something far more serious and personal. In July 2020, an audio recording was leaked on YouTube, capturing a private conversation between Danielle and her mother. In that recording, it was revealed that Danielle had undergone an abortion in January 2020. According to the timeline, Danielle would have been around 13 years old at the time.
Do this at this age. I'm letting you do that. I allowed you to have an abortion. And this is all the shit that they're saying on there. I allowed so much.
The recording also contained another disturbing remark, suggesting that Danielle's mother viewed her as selfish and only concerned about herself. The audio had apparently been leaked by someone Danielle trusted, a friend she had known for several years.
That I shouldn't have allowed. And it's allowed you to be the person you become and just think it's okay to act the way you can towards me. We don't have a relationship.
Can I talk?
Just really quick.
No, wait. I want to just touch base on two things that you said. I'm going to take the microphones. Okay?
She thinks everything's a funny.
It's not. She's a child. This is what kids do. And no offense, when my mom talked, I would laugh. It's so fucking funny, and I get slapped in the face.
The third person you hear in the audio is Virginia, who is Jennifer's best friend and also the mother of Danielle's best friend. Danielle even posted a TikTok expressing her hurt, saying that this friend had exposed her biggest secret to the world. Although the recording was later deleted, by then it had already spread widely online. The news of Danielle's abortion shocked many viewers, as she was so young, just 14 years old in 2020, and likely 13 when the procedure took place. People quickly speculated about the father and concluded that it was Ethan Fair, a social media creator who, as mentioned earlier, was significantly older than Danielle. Ethan later addressed the situation publicly, claiming he had no idea about Danielle's real age. After the leak, Danielle eventually posted a YouTube video titled "The Truth About My Abortion." In it, she confirmed that she had undergone the procedure and described it as an extremely hard decision. The video is emotional and contains sensitive content, so viewer discretion is advised.
Had an abortion. Yes, I did have an abortion in January, and I figured that it would just be best for me to come clean about it because...
In the video, Danielle explained that initially she had been against abortion, but given her circumstances, she felt it was the only option. She emphasized that carrying a pregnancy to term at such a young age would have been heartbreaking and impossible.
Before I had this done, I was against people that had an abortion. And I know I'm probably gonna get hate for saying that, but I was against it. I never understood why people needed to get abortions. I never understood what the point of it was until I literally faced the consequences of getting pregnant and having to get an abortion.
In the video, Danielle also spoke candidly about how painful the entire experience was. She revealed that the person she was with the night it happened, the father, left her completely alone, leaving her to go through the process by herself. For someone so young, facing something so personal and traumatic without support added another layer of difficulty, and Danielle described it as emotionally and physically devastating.
The second pill, when I say I've never had worse pain before, it was the most painful thing ever. And not only just like actual pain, it was like mental pain too. Like I was so sad at the fact that I even had to do that. And also, like I said, going through it alone, I mean, like the other person just didn't support me at all. Like he didn't want me to have it. He wanted me to have an abortion, but he did not support me at all. Like the way I got treated during this, I was mind blown. I honestly, I literally remember saying this. I was like, wow, I thought guys only acted like this in movies. I didn't know guys could be so cold-hearted about this kind of stuff, and they are.
While Danielle has faced criticism for many aspects of her life and career, it's baffling to judge a girl who's only 13 years old going through an abortion. The real responsibility, many argue, lies with her mother, Jennifer, who had allegedly exploited Danielle's fame and forced her to expose her body and personal life to thousands of people. As Michael Weist later revealed, Jennifer reportedly had over 30 CPS cases against her, yet Danielle continued to be exploited. For many observers, this is a truly heartbreaking situation, highlighting the extreme pressures and risks faced by young influencers like Danielle. However, the drama wasn't over. Besides Danielle's mother herself, there was another person heavily involved in her exploitation, her manager, Michael Weist. Before diving into their story, it's important to understand who Michael Weist is. He's a highly controversial figure in the influencer and social media world, known for managing young internet personalities and for funding TanaCon through his company Good Times. TanaCon, marketed as an alternative fan convention to VidCon, ended in chaos. Fans were left stranded without proper accommodations, events were canceled, and it became widely regarded as a disaster in internet history. There's a whole documentary on everything that went wrong with TanaCon, so if you're interested, you can check it out. However, this reputation, coupled with allegations of poor judgment in handling young creators, has made Weist a polarizing figure. Danielle's relationship with him was also far from smooth. Weist had been involved in managing her projects, brand partnerships, and sponsorship deals, but over time, tensions grew. In August 2021, Danielle uploaded a video addressing the issues she had experienced with her manager. In her video, Danielle took a moment to address the ongoing drama surrounding her manager and how it impacted her career. She made it clear that she did not trust managers because of her past experiences. Danielle explained that he forged her name and claimed ownership over her work, which broke the trust she had placed in him. This, she said, was a major reason she preferred having her mother handle most of her brand deals, because family, she believed, was far more trustworthy than an outside manager.
Exactly. And you want to know why I don't trust managers? Because your family and your blood is way better than some random motherfucker who's just going to take my money. So for all of you saying that, there's why. That is why. That is why I let my mom do most of my brand deals, because she's my mom. I know I can trust her. I don't really care what you guys have to say. I know what's going on. I see everything. I have access to everything. My mom doesn't even have access to any of my social medias. I don't let anyone have access to my social medias. I don't like that. I feel like it's weird. I would never want a manager having access to my social media. I would only want me to. I don't care about it. My mom literally helps me out with some brand deals. You know, she helps me negotiate them, stuff like that.
But this was far from over, because as you all know, Michael Weist is a pretty petty person, and he pretty much sues all of his clients, so this wasn't going to be any different. In the back and forth that ensued, Danielle made serious allegations against Michael. She claimed that he sexually assaulted his adopted brother, interfered with her accounts, attempted to claim her social media earnings, and received valuable gifts from her boyfriend at the time, Mason Patterson. She also said he wanted to get Mason. Michael is gay, for context.
There's been a lot of people, including my adopted brother, I'm sure you guys all know him, that have claimed that they have been sexually assaulted by Michael Weist. And I didn't believe it until I started seeing how he was with Mason and how he was with this assistant guy, because he was literally like trying to force them to be like. Then Michael posts on his story that Mason got him these earrings, which I had already known about. Mason told me he got them for him. And Mason got them, because, he was helping him out with some legal issues that Mason was going through. I'm not going to say it because that's Mason's business. But he was helping him out with them, and, he wanted to, Michael was very, very hesitant on Mason paying for the lawyer bills. He was like, no, I want to pay for them. So Mason was like, oh, let me buy you something, He was like, oh, his favorite thing's Cartier. Let me just buy him these Cartier earrings. It was literally nothing romantic. But Michael took it romantic. And he can say he didn't, but he did. Started claiming all my YouTube videos because he hacked my YouTube while he was in my house. Carlos, his little videographer, had edited some of my videos, so he had access to my YouTube. And they were posting Fuck You, the song Fuck You, they were posting it. Michael got access while he was doing that and started claiming all of my music and saying that it was his and saying that he deserves all the money for it and stuff. He didn't even know me when some of those songs were made.
Danielle also alleged that Michael misused his power and access, trying to control the trajectory of her career in ways she found exploitative. Michael did not stay silent. He publicly clapped back at Danielle's accusations, stating that she had actually sought access to her own accounts and that she had full knowledge of his management strategies. He added that Danielle would have no rights to certain properties or earnings by the time she turned 18, framing the conflict as a business dispute rather than a personal betrayal.
Ultimately, Danielle was like a little sister to me, and I wanted to help her and protect her. Mason was like a brother whom I did everything outside of what a manager even should do. I shouldn't have to pay for legal fees. I shouldn't have to pay for all of these things to protect him and get such a level of disrespect that is not only hurtful, but slanderous to my brand. And it affects my current clients whom, have to deal with a lot of these things. I know throughout, do business with her, I need to know her real age, blah, blah, blah. She tells me that she is 16 years old, to which, was concerning because we had this conversation about when she turns 18, what is she gonna do? So she told me that she is 16 and had just turned 16 and asked me to speak to Jen so that we could get access to Danny's emails, because at the time, Jen was handling all of Danielle's brand deals and such. So she had actually had me go in the room with her and her mom, and I felt very uncomfortable. I kept saying, this is not my place. This is, I'm here because Danielle has asked me to speak to you guys about this, to which Danny cried. I felt like a therapist more than a manager, to say the least. To add on, I just wanted to kind of give some more context into some specific things. While I was in LA with Jen and Danny, and while I was in Florida, and we were filming the documentary during Florida, I had begun to notice a pattern of behavior that was really not healthy. Jen saying things like, you should wear this bikini pic, or you should post this ass pic, or you should do this, essentially pimping out her daughter, and it made me feel very uncomfortable.
I think Danny would look so cute with a nose stud.
Yeah, that would be cute.
But she won't do it.
I already have 12 piercings on my ears. I literally have 4 and then a cartilage.
She went to get her tongue pierced with Desiree. They were supposed to be matching, and then she wanted to get her.
Well, here's the thing: is
she got her cartilage.
When I got my industrial done, the lady said that because I was ready. Remember, I went up there and I was like, "Oh yeah, let's get mine done now," and she was like, "No, I don't think it's a good idea."
There were times in which she would say, "Oh, if you wouldn't have aborted your daughter, you would be on 16 and pregnant." I felt very, very uncomfortable. Jen would get phone calls and scream. I think we have a clip of Jen literally screaming about a lawsuit that they were getting.
Tell me what is going on? How can you sue me for $100K?
And while I was having fun in the beginning, it became very dark and very clear.
So yeah, a lot of mud being thrown, receipts being shown. The tension came to a head during a trip to Nashville, where Danielle officially signed with a new manager, effectively ending her professional relationship with Michael. This move marked a significant turning point, but it did not resolve all issues. There were ongoing disputes over her YouTube account and monetization, which Michael had registered under his name, creating months of messy negotiations and public arguments. Social media became a battleground as both sides tried to defend their narratives. Adding fuel to the fire, Michael was also the producer of the documentary series Obsessed, which chronicled the life of Danielle Cohn. the documentary project Obsessed, which was meant to chronicle Danielle Cohn's rise and controversies, was never fully completed or officially released because the relationship between Danielle's team and the filmmaker completely broke down during production. Originally helmed by producer Michael Weist, filming reportedly stopped when tensions escalated and things became too gloomy, with Weist later accusing Danielle's mother of exploiting her daughter and misusing the documentary process, claims that Danielle and her family strongly denied. Weist even discussed the collapse of Obsessed in a video about his disputed work, and subsequently filed a lawsuit against Danielle, her boyfriend, and her mother for defamation and unpaid contracts, which tied the project up in legal conflict and made official release difficult. What remains public today are only draft edits and episodes created from raw footage meant for internal use, not the polished documentary that was originally envisioned.
Tell me what it feels like having 18 million people following you.
She has now exposed her daughter Danielle for having an abortion at 14 years old.
Danielle Cohn and Mikey Tua have apparently moved on, but they won't stop shading each other.
Danielle's dad, Dustin Cohn, joined YouTube to expose Danielle's real age. Danielle Cohn and her brother, Chad Archibald, shared their tough childhood with Dustin and avoided speaking on Danielle's age.
Hi, I'm Danielle Cohn. I have about 18.8 million followers.
But again, this was not the end of it. Even after the Obsessed documentary fell apart, filmmaker Michael Weist didn't stop trying to dig deeper into Danielle Cohn's story. Instead of giving up, he went on to release a 3-part interview series titled The Truth About Danielle Cohn, where he talked to people who had first-hand experience with her life behind the scenes, including her ex-boyfriend Mikey Tua and his mother Katie Tua, exploring their time with Danielle and what really went on during their relationship and rise to fame. This series, which dropped in 2022, featured candid interviews that showed a side of her life the public rarely saw, including how her family dynamics affected everything around her fame.
They're publicly acknowledging this relationship. As an adult, we know that these relationships are likely not going to last forever. Like,
Right.
let's be honest.
Right.
And if they do, wonderful. I'm not here to destroy somebody, and I'm not here to tell somebody, who you can love. It's just statistically, you probably aren't going to marry this person, spend the rest of your life with them. So I thought, gosh, I thought that was strange. And then I thought, I didn't see Danielle ever with a lot of friends. And again,
Which probably seems strange.
It did, because when I was growing up, I was always with my girlfriends.
But arguably, the most revealing material came from an interview with Virginia, who was once one of Jennifer Cohn's closest friends and was filmed for what was originally intended to be part of Obsessed itself. In that interview, Virginia shared shocking details, including claims about Jennifer's past, the way she handled Danielle's relationships, and how she pushed her daughter into situations for online attention and profit. She even revealed that Jennifer herself experienced a teenage pregnancy and alleged that she encouraged Danielle to date for the sake of content, while also describing troubling household dynamics that painted a far darker picture of Danielle's upbringing than what was shown on camera.
That are on social media, they could have a child picture and they're on there. There's grown men, we know it.
Yeah.
Danielle's on sex sites
Fucking
with
disgusting.
Jennifer's email.
But I think it's insane. I am gonna talk to.
Does she not spend more time trying to silence you than remove that stuff? Danny understands that her mom is a jealous person, and that's
She
what
does
it
know
is.
that.
Jennifer is jealous of her daughter and the relationships that she has.
Yes.
You know how disrespectful that Jennifer has talked about Jazzy, her mother, her
Children.
father.
I've literally watched her shit talk like kids, and I'm like,
9 years old, 10 years old, because her mom kicked her out.
You
And
can
that
tell.
was because of not doing it musically. I've seen this woman slam her daughter's head, and I've said this before. I've seen this woman slam her daughter's head against the wall because Danielle was choosing not to do these musically. Danielle would fight back, and her mom would be like, all right, we have to buy these outfits, we have to do this, we have to put makeup, we changed your hair.
Taken together, these interviews showed that while Michael Weist initially tried to position himself as someone who wanted what was best for Danielle, the adults around her, from managers to family members, often seemed to be driven less by concern for her well-being and more by the pursuit of fame and profit, leaving a narrative of a young influencer repeatedly exploited by the very people who were meant to protect her. However, as time went by, people started noticing that things were finally getting a little quiet for Danielle. Her social media feeds began looking a bit more tamed, and her views started to drop. In 2023, Danielle revealed that she was actually getting engaged to Brandon Lowe. She even explained how the two had met, which apparently was on social media. Danielle and Brandon talked online for a while, and then she uploaded a video of her prom dress shopping with him. And you'd be surprised to know that only after 48 hours of talking and just a few FaceTime calls, Brandon had already asked Danielle to be his prom date, hence the prom dress shopping video. The two even created a separate YouTube account called Danielle and Brandon, where they posted content together. They also did a storytime video explaining how they had met.
He FaceTimed me, we talked for like a really long time, and anytime he was like at home, he would be like, do you want to FaceTime? So we just like really got to know each other in a span of 2 days. And then he asked me on the phone if I wanted to go to prom with him. But I was like, you know, this guy's lying. Like, I'm not going to go to his prom. Like, it's too late of notice. Like, I'm not going to get approved and all of that. And so I didn't believe him. And then I went prom dress shopping with my friend who was going to prom. And I was like, oh, I'll just try on some dresses. And he surprised me there.
Things moved extremely fast for this relationship. They began dating in April 2023, and by December he had already proposed, which Danielle, of course, said yes to. This is the video she posted on her TikTok, and a whole vlog about their engagement. During this time, there were lots of couple videos, wholesome content, and cute moments shared online. They even decided to get married in October 2024. Danielle posted a video on her YouTube about wedding dress shopping. But as you might have guessed, nothing ever seems to go smoothly for Danielle. Before they could even get close to their expected wedding date, the couple went their separate ways. In July 2024, she uploaded a video on TikTok saying that she and Brandon had broken up. She clarified there was no cheating or bad blood between them. The issue was simply that their wedding had to be delayed and it just wasn't working out for them.
Hi guys, so I wanted to come on here and talk about something real quick before it gets a little too out of hand. So I had posted a video and I was clearly really upset in it, and it caused a lot of comments, and I ended up responding back to one because I was kind of getting a little aggravated with all of the comments, just assuming that they knew what was happening. And I had mentioned that yes, I ended it, whatever. And the thing is that from the beginning, me and Brandon have been very public about our relationship and our engagement and everything like that, and even pushing back our wedding date because it was a little too much in just a short amount of time, that we ended up pushing it back for our relationship and to better our relationship. And with doing that, obviously that's a lot on a couple to have to go through pushing your wedding back and deciding that. It was a lot on us, and it definitely caused us some issues clearly that we're going through currently. And the reason that I involve you guys is because I know that I'm gonna get a lot of questions about it, and me as somebody who's trying to cope with something myself, I don't always want to go and respond to the comments, and I don't want to deal with them. And I know I set myself up for it being on social media, but just kind of to understand where I'm coming from. But with that being said, me giving people that information and sharing it with people doesn't give them the right to come and make assumptions about our relationship or spread rumors or say certain things that happened that didn't happen. There was no cheating. There was really no reason why besides the fact that we are going through a rough patch in our relationship. And clearly I was sad, and clearly I showed it on social media, and there's nothing wrong with that because we're all human. Like I said, we are going through a rough patch. I decided that I wanted to just take a step back for a second because I do really love him and I value our relationship a lot, and I think that it was much needed. Are we gonna work it out? I hope so. We might not. That's just life. It really is just life, and you never know.
After that, Brandon quietly disappeared from her feed once again, leaving fans with nothing. So yeah, to a lot of people, this seemed like the end of Danielle's chaotic era. Once she entered this relationship with Brandon, things appeared to slow down quite a bit. She was still making content, but nowhere near the same amount as before. If you go to her YouTube channel right now, most of her videos are over a year old, and the few more recent ones are very tame, mostly daily lifestyle content, vision board videos, and other calm personal updates. Along with that, her overall engagement and views also started to drop significantly. However, she was still very active on Instagram and TikTok, regularly posting updates about her life. But around 2024, when Danielle finally turned 18, a noticeable shift happened in her content. She began heavily promoting Playboy and Centerfold on her social media accounts. Centerfold, for those who don't know, is a creator platform launched by Playboy that allows influencers to share exclusive content with fans. Danielle started posting photos and promotional content with both Playboy and Centerfold tagged on her Instagram and TikTok pages. What caught people's attention, though, was the timing. This all seemed to happen almost immediately after she turned 18, which made many viewers wonder if she had simply been waiting until she had legally reached that age to start promoting this type of content. Platforms like these often have very strict age requirements, so the timing raised quite a few eyebrows online. And this wasn't the first time people had questions about Danielle being involved with adult-style platforms. She had already addressed being on OnlyFans, even uploading a video explaining why she joined it. However, adult-style content promotion wasn't the only business move Danielle made during this time. Around 2024, she also launched her own brand called Her Lovely Pleasures, a wellness and self-care business that sells bath products and feminine wellness items. The brand has its own website, which, to be honest, is pretty poorly designed. However, the brand's Instagram page appears to be much more polished and consistently maintained, where Danielle promotes the products and shares updates about the business. So with all of this, the quieter content, the business ventures, and the shift toward more adult-oriented platforms, a lot of people assumed that this was finally the calm ending to Danielle Cohn's chaotic internet story. But, as it turned out, that wasn't the end at all. Because now, Danielle seems to be stepping back into the spotlight again. If you look at the most recent video on her channel, you'll see that she's uploaded a teaser for her own documentary titled Danielle Cohn, created in collaboration with Pretty Honest. In the teaser, Danielle briefly revisits all the things people have been saying about her for years. The controversies, the accusations, the rumors about her age, her relationships and her family. The entire teaser is framed around one message: that for years, the internet had told its own version of her story, but now she was ready to tell her own truth. According to the description from the teaser, the full documentary is scheduled to be released on April 4th, 2026. And if it actually does come out, it may finally give Danielle the chance to address many of the unanswered questions that may have surrounded her life for nearly a decade. Because when you really step back and look at Danielle Cohn's story, one thing becomes very clear. She was incredibly young when all of this started. A child who was pushed into pageants, a preteen who suddenly became famous on social media, a teenager whose life, relationships, and personal struggles were constantly broadcast to millions of strangers online. And through it all, the adults around her played a huge role in shaping what her life became. Many critics over the years have pointed fingers at Danielle herself. But the reality is that most of the decisions that defined her early career were not made by a child. They were made by adults who had control over her finances, her career, and often her personal relationships. And in many ways, Danielle became the face of something much bigger, a reminder of how dangerous internet fame can be when it happens to someone who is still growing up. Because at the end of the day, Danielle Cohn wasn't just an influencer. She was a kid who grew up on the internet. And whether the upcoming documentary will finally reveal the full truth about what really happened behind the scenes is something we'll have to wait and see.